Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? How do you do? How do you do? Hey there, Chrysler. What is up? We finally back after not streaming literally only yesterday. What is up? How everything's doing? Of course, we're gonna wait for more people to tune in. But we have a lot of interesting videos. We have a lot of interesting videos for today. Mostly about Guild Wars 2. The end is near, the heat is unbearable. Man, is this something I'm too AC pill to understand? I mean, honestly, I don't know how you guys can manage without AC. I would have been dead. I wouldn't have survived. Like, it kinda sucks. It kinda sucks. But I mean, I do understand. I used to grow up without an AC. I mean, I have grown up without an AC. So, it's a damn shame. I feel you. I feel you. But tell me more. Wait, let's see. How many people do we have here? Who's lurking? 5 viewers! And 2 on Twitch. Someone is lurking and he's not typing in chat. I will find you. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Whoever lurks, type right now. Type right now or it's over. Wait, who? Oh, there we go. I can see. Wait, I'll check something. Interesting, interesting. Guys, we have very interesting videos for today. If you want to recommend anything, feel free to. Even though I think, like, these 4 are enough. Because they will take quite some time. We have 2 Guild Wars 1, World of Warcraft, and another random MMO, which I'll reveal later. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. Damn, it's getting kind of hot in my room. Let me just adjust the AC. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry, even don't even worry about it, Chrysler. It's fine. It's okay. I'm just adjusting the AC. It's all good. Stop flexing or iron sub? Never, dude. Never. That's easy. I mean, wait, why don't you have an AC? Like, real question. Like, is it too expensive? I understand why some don't have it, but like, why do you don't? Like, why you don't have it? Is it like very expensive where you're from? Here it's kind of expensive too, but not really. No, actually, not really. It used to be really expensive. Nowadays, it's not. Yeah, I do have a tiny fan, but I'm unfortunate enough to live in Germany and it's very expensive. Oh, I see. I see. That settles it. Man, it's really expensive out there, huh? Or that sucks. That really sucks. I can't even imagine suffering all this heat. Yo, first time I caught you live, GeneralApple? Hey, yo, finally, it's time. On a Friday, too. Friday is usually the time nobody's watching, but thank you. Shieldage. Hope I pronounced your name correctly. We just wait for maybe like 5 more minutes and then we can start the stream. We're just chilling in the meantime. We'll just chill until more people wake up. Even though Fridays, like, I barely get any views. Like, nobody's available on Friday. I guess everyone's touching grass, which it's a damn shame. I need you guys to be more unemployed. You're too employed. That's not good. But we have very interesting videos for today. So I guess that's kind of fine. So how are you doing, guys? Tell me. What is up? How do you do? By the way, we're gonna watch Barbug video here. Oh, been following you since you had around 1K subs, growing fast, Jam? Damn, that's crazy. 1K subs? Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's crazy. What did I do when I had 1K subs? I don't even remember. I think it's whenever I started making World of Warcraft content, right? It was a little bit over 6 months ago, which is crazy to think. Because I've been making YouTube videos for over 3 years, slightly over 3 years. But I failed so miserably. Only recently I started actually understanding what the hell am I doing. And only 2 months ago I started streaming. So imagine that. But that's crazy you've been there from 1K, man. I appreciate that. You put your faith in me, I will not disappoint you. Surely, I won't. But yeah, let's wait just 5 more minutes. And then I think we can start. Even though we're like 3 people here, that's fine. More will join later. Surely, more will join later. I'll ping again on Discord. Maybe the initial ping didn't really work. Let's see. Everyone. Okay, I pinged everyone on Discord. Oh, first time I found you, you were starting to play Turtle WoW. Yes. You know, it's funny. Turtle WoW was actually the beginning of how do I say that? Of my, you know, my rise on YouTube, you can call it, I guess. And it's all because of Turtle WoW. I'll always remember, like, fondly Turtle WoW for that alone. Which is crazy. Hey there, Zeke. Happy Friday evening, Giga Chads. Having my winter vacation next week, so time to chill. Fucking Chad. Holy. It's good. It's good. Nice. Enjoy it. So, well, let's wait just 4 more minutes, and then we can start the stream. We have some really interesting videos about Guild Wars 2, about some random MMO, which I'm really excited to watch that, and one World of Warcraft video, because how can we do without one WoW video? I made a lot of content about Turtle WoW. Don't know if you've ever seen any of my videos, but anyway, love it. Your real and base takes on things. Oh yeah, I more than likely watch your video. Depends. I search for a lot of Turtle WoW content. But yeah, you know, I'm trying to be real, right? Obviously. I have to be real. I feel like if I won't be real, I will never make it. I can fake emotion. I'm not one of those people. That's why you never see me like exaggerating in a reaction. Because I'm not that type of person. I'm not a loud equal funny guy. I'm not a high person. I'm a very low energy person. So I rather just stay articulate and voice my opinions in a coherent manner. Like, I think that's important. There we go. What am I doing? I clicked on things I shouldn't. Sorry, guys. Got a little bit distracted for a second. Okay, I think we can start. You know what? Let's start with a WoW video, and then we'll talk about the rest, okay? I think people will join. We waited for 10 minutes. More people will arrive later. I assume people are out there touching grass, which is, it's crazy. You guys really need to start losing your jobs. Like, how can I stream on a Friday when no one is here? But at least I have you guys. You're base Giga Chads. So you know what? 1 Giga Chad is worth 1,000 of viewers. And I have currently 3 in the chat. So that's more than enough. We can start. I say we go. Let me just shut this down. And there we go. Hey YouTube, I love World of Warcraft. Thank you, Christ. I didn't even need to mention that. Man, you're learning fast. That's crazy. You see, I'm training all of the Guild Wars 2 Andys to play along with the WoW content. It's so good. It's just man. It's so good. Truly. Guys, you'll become WoW players one day. You're being indoctrinated. You're not even paying attention. I'm currently mind controlling you. You just don't know it yet. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah.
Today I want to
let's start this video. Oh shit, that's
talk
loud.
about why World of Warcraft doesn't feel as immersive as
Okay, I think that's right.
today.
That's the right volume. I know that was hella loud. Kind of took me by surprise there. Sorry about that. Okay. Hey, oh hey there, Heisenberg. Hello. We have some very interesting videos today. We're watching YouTube recommended, viewers recommended, and also some YouTube recommended videos. We have 4 videos from now. Maybe we'll add some later. But we have 4 very, very interesting videos. They're going to be fun one. So yeah, hopefully we have a great time this Friday. More people surely will join later. Even though it's a Friday, I know most people don't come to the stream on Friday. It is what it is. But yeah, let's start with it. 3 weeks out of World of Warcraft and feels great. Don't worry. Wait 1 more week. You're gonna feel the pain. I know. I've been there. There's always a withdrawal. It's okay. It's okay. You'll learn. You'll learn. But yeah, let's officially start this stream, boys. We've been waiting long enough. It's time. Now, I encountered this video out there in the wild. Why World of Warcraft doesn't feel as immersive anymore. I don't know how this dude made a 17-minute video, but there's only one answer. The game is too damn fast.
Today I want to talk about why World of Warcraft doesn't feel as immersive as it used to. And that's not to say that retail WoW isn't immersive. There's plenty of times I feel immersed in retail WoW.
The only time you feel immersed in retail WoW is when you rage quit and go outside to touch grass. That is the only way to feel immersed, because you're immersing yourself in the real world rather than the garbage that is called retail.
But there was something about classic WoW that really just...
That's what he meant,
It was
I
like
think.
the pinnacle of immersion. Like when you played the game, you felt like you were in the Barrens. You felt like you were in Feralus. You felt like you were in Tanars, right? All these different
Facts.
zones. And I think there's a few things
True.
that kind of play into that classic WoW did that retail WoW doesn't do. And so I kind of want to just go over some of those things today, because I wrote down a few bullet points of why I think all of this is. And so let's just jump right into it with classic WoW is that slower RPG type of game. And you hear this all the time, right, people?
There you go. There, you can end the video right here. You called it. Man, he's right. True and real. Very, very based. Now, I don't know how he's going to elaborate on that, but I think he's going to go into more fine details, because the game needs to slow down. It's like, it's the root of all things. So I guess he's just going to see how it went, right? Just you talk about all the little stuff. I appreciate that.
Well, I was like, it's a
Let's
slow
wait and see.
RPG game. Some people don't like that. Some people like this is boring. And then the modern game is much more like action RPG. And
Yeah.
while I think those are kind of great to compare and contrast, I think one big factor stands with these two, and that's friction, right? And so classic WoW is all about friction, and slowly either removing that friction or kind of like learning to appreciate that friction in a way. While retail WoW is much more about reducing all of the friction, like just reducing as much friction as possible in various ways. So let me give you some examples.
It's teleporting you to the mountaintop without needing to climb. That's what he's trying to say. Absolutely, he's 100% right. And that's exactly why people don't like retail. I mean, listen, someone is going to pull the 9 million players argument. Don't. Okay, we've been over this too many times. It's 9 million bots. Enough, okay? You can be that stupid. You can believe it. Please, just, oh my god, like these type of people. I already know I'm gonna get that comment.
Examples, right? It's like when people bring up walking versus flying. In classic WoW, you had to walk everywhere. You know, you start out the game, you have to walk through Durotar, you have to walk through the Barrens, you have to walk through all these places, right? That's friction. It's,
Yes.
I want to be able to fly. I want to be able to get my mount and just, you know, move faster and not have to do this.
And stuff happens while you're walking, by the way. That's why flying is so frowned upon these days, because people know, like, flying completely deteriorated the friction of the game. It didn't even deteriorate it, it just deleted it. So, yeah, there's barely any friction. If you played retail, I played Midnight, unfortunately, my condolences, right? It's so bad. You have dragon flying, it's cool, it's fast, you go from A to B in a matter of seconds, but you don't really play the game. You're playing a solo game. It's definitely not an MMO, or at least it doesn't feel like it.
But by being forced to do that, it actually makes you stop and kind of be aware of your surroundings, right? Like when you're walking through a zone, you go, oh, there's these mobs over there. I need to be careful of those mobs. There's a city
imagine
over
having
here.
danger in the world.
I should go look at.
Crazy
right?
concept.
And you're always looking around and being aware because you're just moving through the zone. Now you could just go on auto run and be like whatever, but That's more of like once you kind of know the zone, right? But now in the game, you just get flying and you fly around and that's it, right? You just fly over stuff and you're like, oh, is that something I need to look at? I don't even know, right? And so, sure, you could fly around and stop and look at something and fly somewhere else and look at that's what I do for Pointless Top 10, honestly. But it does remove something, right? Like that friction has been removed. And you can kind of say the same thing for instances, right? It's why people go, oh, remember when you had to run to the instance and summon people and then go in, right? Versus just open your menu and click do dungeon, get into a queue and it pops and you're in the dungeon, right? That's friction. You're removing that element of friction, which I think in return is a form of immersion. And so that slow RPG feel, I think, plays into that because sure, you have that source of friction of, oh man, I have to walk everywhere, it's slow, but then you get your movement abilities and you're like, hey, this is actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
I can move a little faster, right? I can, get...
Such a great point. He made such a fantastic point there because you used to have solution for such problem and it always felt good whenever you achieved that. Same thing goes for the mount itself, by the way, like the normal mount, not TBC flying mounts. If we're talking strictly vanilla, the moment you hit 40 and you manage to save up the gold for that first mount, boy, you feel that change immediately. It's crazy, and I'm not even gonna bother mentioning the epic mount, which is 10 times faster, right? It's so crazy good. And the only reason that you appreciate it is because you get it at level 40. In Ascension World of Warcraft, which is a private server, you get your first mount for, Classic Plus, right? You get it, I think, level 4 or something like that. And it's horrible. It's one of the things that I hated about the server that completely made me just not tolerate it, to say the least. Because it completely skipped the entire premise of Classic. Classic needs to be slow. That's the definition for Classic that I think most people hold.
Around and explore a little bit better, then you get your ground mount.
Yeah. As a Guild Wars 2 player, I tried to play WoW and I didn't even live the tutorial. Man, you have any idea how many WoW players are saying the same about Guild Wars 2?
You're like, okay, that was pretty cool, and I saved up enough money.
It's funny.
It gives you this sense of progression.
But yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest factors. It gives you the RPG progression system of like, I was slow, now I'm less slow, now I'm getting a lot faster, and now I'm going fast because I got my epic mount, right? Or, I mean, you could even play into like Burning Crusade. Like you started with ground mounts, and then you eventually got flying, even though it was very slow flying, right? It was all sources of friction that you remove by playing the game and just earning stuff. Now, another form of that, I would say, is the old like arrows, right? Like you had to buy your arrows. You had to buy reagents to do stuff. And while that is annoying, right? You're like, oh, I ran out of arrows, I got to go buy them. There is an element of immersion to that. Like, hey, I'm a hunter, I'm buying my arrows, I'm buying food, I'm feeding my pet, right? All these different things. And I don't think your pet...
And also, it made one legendary bow extremely cool. I forgot the name. Was it Quelf? No, wait, what? Oh my god. The bow name just slipped my mind. It was the cool hunter bow from the raid. Damn it. Anyone members? I literally forgot the name. I'll check it out. I'll check it out after. My bad. It completely slipped my mind. I even remember some of the flavor text. You like pull the string back and like an arrow conjure or something like Rock Delar. Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, exactly. For some reason, I remembered it from Hearthstone. I don't know why. The image just popped to my mind. Never mind that. But yeah, exactly. It was so cool, right? It was amazing. And you can only have this type of weapon if you have arrows. So I really wish they bring arrows back. Maybe not the same way where you have like, infinite stacks clogging up your bag. But in some sort of a different way. I really wish arrows would make a comeback.
That should run away from that.
And also, I really wish it would come back in a form of you can upgrade arrows and you can equip different arrows. I think that would be cool, like equipping poison arrows, equipping enchanted arrows, something like that. That is unique to Hunter.
It, although I get why they did it, I guess.
Surely Blizzard would take the mental and do that.
Kind of bring you into the world. It makes you feel like, again, you're role-playing. You're like, I am a hunter. I have bought my ammo and I have my ammo, right? And now it's just kind of like, I'm a hunter. It's just, I'm shooting my gun. I don't have to buy arrows or bullets or whatever. And so, again, that's a form of friction. It's a little thing you have to do, but that little thing can add an element of immersion. Now, adding on to that, I would say that hardcore Classic WoW actually adds to that friction and immersion, right? Because now, if you mess up,
Yeah, I was
you have
about to
start
say
all
Quell
over
the
again.
Lore.
So you're trying to make these potions, like you're getting potions to buff your stuff up. You're trying to increase your stats. You're making sure that everything is correct, and you're going to be as strong as possible when you go out into the world so that you don't die, because the ultimate level of friction is you die and you start over, and you're like, oh my god, this is terrible, right? And so that becomes very immersive, because now you're just like, it's essentially real life in the game. And I think that's one of the reasons the Classic WoW is also so much fun, is you're hitting like max levels of friction at that point, because you know if you die, you start over. And then in retail WoW, or even just normal Classic WoW or whatever, if you die, you just respawn, and there's no friction there. You're like, whatever, I just keep going. Now that brings me to my next point, which is the musical immersion. And the musical immersion is one of my favorite parts of playing WoW. Like when you play Classic WoW and you hear that ambient music wherever you are, like in the Barrens or in a forest, wherever it might be, it really hits. Like it makes you feel like you're in that zone, you're a part of the game. And sometimes it gives you that feeling of you're not even listening to music. It's almost like you're just there.
I love this guy. Nah, this guy's a G. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. No, that's absolutely true. I played, unfortunately, Season of Discovery just a couple of days ago. Even though I quit because it's just same lame rehashed garbage, I loved leveling in the Baron so much, dude. Just the music, it truly feels like you there. Even on stream, which is very difficult to disconnect yourself from, like, you know, try to imagine you're from a streamer perspective. I mean, you know, minus the doing crimes on Twitch and all that stuff, just imagine you're a streamer. You need to be on chat and in the game. You need to kind of split your attention. Bro, I completely lost myself in the game and I went silent for like minutes on end, right? Sometimes even an hour. I barely speak because I get immersed killing Quellbores. That's insane. And only World of Warcraft can pull me this way. No other game has managed to do that. Literally no other game. And it's all due to the music. It's so good. And I will say, you know, to retail credit, I don't think the music has dropped off significantly. I still think that retail World of Warcraft music is still kind of good. I did enjoy Midnight music. It wasn't as good as, let's say, Warlords of Draenor. Worlds of Draenor music was top tier, in my opinion. I still listen to the soundtrack. Or Pandaria. Pandaria was goated. Even BFA had some really good tunes, but it was good. It was still good.
The music belongs there, and I think that's something that's like really powerful, because I always have the music on when I'm playing just really any video game, but especially WoW. And that's not to say retail doesn't have that, because there's actually a lot of times in retail WoW I've felt very immersed from the music, like the Undermine, honestly, places like Zuldazar.
Yeah, but the problem is you have 7 different NPCs yapping in your ear about irrelevant garbage. Like, that is the problem. It's like, oh, okay, I'm about to be immersed, and then it's like 8 different RP sessions that you didn't ask for, just the unsolicited advice of Jaina and Thrall yapping in your ear. Nobody wants that. It completely screws up the immersion, and that's why I'm always advocating for less RP in retail World of Warcraft.
Drustvar, even like the Isle of Dorn had some really good music at times. Like there's a lot of good music in retail WoW that is immersive, but I think Classic World of Warcraft just had, it was like the perfect amount.
Classic had
like
less noise.
Felt perfect. Like I think that's, like, to me, Classic World of Warcraft music is almost like the pinnacle of video game music. Like, it's just phenomenal. And so I think that is also another element of why it felt so immersive. And speaking of zones, that actually brings me to my next point, which is sometimes in retail WoW, going to zones can pull you out of that immersion because you get kind of warped back to periods that have already happened. And so let's say I'm going to Booty Bay as a great example, right? And I see the goblins just repairing Booty Bay, and I'm like, man, it's been like, what, 16, 17 years of the goblins repairing Booty Bay?
Yeah.
And sure, you could make the argument like they're
Don't worry, next expansion, surely Gazlo would come in and fix everything. That's okay. He's just too busy, I don't know, drinking some elixirs.
like actual construction, they're taking forever to get it done.
He's chugging Noggenfogger
there is
elixirs.
something to that, to where you see a lot of these old things. For example, like Stone Talon Mountains. When you go there, There's like the big war going on with Garrosh and the Alliance and stuff, and you're like, this already happened. And so obviously the logistical real life part of you kicks in. It's like, yeah, you know, this is an older expansion, right? Like they're gonna update it eventually, hopefully. And it's, you know, it's just part of it. But that's still something that takes you out of the game, right? Like you have to get out of the game mindset to realize that and be like, you know, this is just an old expansion because you're
Exactly. And let me add something on top of it. It's so weird that you go to let me think of a zone. Man, why did WoW zone's name just escape my mind? Like I want to say Winterspring, but that's not the one I mean. The woods one, the one with the woods where the Alliance and the Horde fight. Why it completely like Ashenvale? Oh, dude, what the hell is wrong with me today? Okay, so you go to Ashenvale and you see the Horde and the Alliance kind of fighting each other for resources. And then you go up and the story tells you that they're cool now, but they really aren't. And that's just confusing the hell out of you. It's so weird, it's inconsistent, and it's all due to Blizzard keeping piling on expansions on top of each other. Nothing in the old world makes sense anymore. And that's a huge problem that actually really, really hurts the game long term because you're getting no new players. New players can't immerse themselves inside of the world. They're losing their interest, they're dropping out quickly, and you're basically staying with the same old veterans over and over again. Eventually, you're gonna run out of whales, right? I know right now it seems like an impossibility, but it will happen in a couple of years, surely.
If you're playing in the game, you're just like, this is weird. Like, what's going on? This happened 15 years ago. Why is this still occurring in this zone, right? And Classic WoW doesn't have that because it's just all static. Like, it's Classic WoW. The zones are the way they are. It really does pull you out of a zone when you go there and everything's just kind of outdated and things have already been completed and you're just like, yeah, I don't know. It's... That's the way it is, right? And now, having said that, retail does do a lot of stuff well, right? Like rating and Mythic Plus and collecting.
That's the only thing they're doing well. Everything else is trash. Okay, I want to hear what he has to say here.
Pets and mounts and transmogs and all that stuff.
That's
right?
the only stuff.
All that stuff. I think it's fun. Well, actually, I don't really like Mythic Plus. It's not my thing. I'm bad at the game. But sometimes it almost...
Okay, he literally said retail has a lot of things. And then he gave the 3 things that's going on for retail. Literally, there's nothing else good about retail, save for Mythic Plus, rating, and collectibles. These are the only things that makes retail survive. Without them, retail's cooked. If you make Classic Plus with today current rating, people will never play retail again.
It feels like there's too much to do, and that can kind of take you out of it. For an example, when I logged in for this past patch, I got to the new zone with all the mushrooms all over and stuff, and I was like, this is pretty cool, right? And I was going through, and I got it all done, and I was like, well, that's that. And it didn't really feel like I immersed myself in this new patch zone. It didn't really feel like I was like, whoa, I'm in the game right now, and I'm loving the aesthetic. Like, I thought...
Why? You got a command prompt bug? Like, why weren't you immersed? Wait, your NPCs glitch through the mountains? I mean, hey, that's okay. Wait, did you get the same dialogue 3 times in a row again? Oh, okay, maybe those things actually hurt immersion a little bit. I don't know. But, hey, at least we have a pretty solid PTR, no? What do you say? Guys, Blizzard would never finish a buggy PTR into live service game. No, they would never do that.
The zone
never.
Was cool. I thought it looked great, but I didn't feel immersed in the zone. And I realized that part of that is due to the way the game is currently structured. So we have things like weeklies, we have dailies, we have all these different currencies.
Yes.
And so when I wanted to go do the new zone, I was like, all right, where do I go? And there was like a
billion
quests all over because I didn't do much of the last patch. And I was like, okay, here's a quest, but is this quest for the new patch or is this for the old patch? Then people in chat were like, Crendor, what are you talking about? Dude. It's from the previous patch and like this, but I'm like, I play this game and I'm confused.
That's so true. Oh my god, I'm pausing constantly in this video about this guy. He's just spitting fire and brimstone. That's crazy. Exactly. Dailies should be abolished. Weeklies should be abolished. Monthlies should be abolished. everything in World of Warcraft that forces you to log in to the game on a weekly or daily basis should be gone. There is no such room for this in an MMORPG. I know that nowadays it's the meta and everyone's doing it. I don't want to see it in World of Warcraft, okay?
Imagine a new
It's
player
garbage.
here trying to be like, hey, a new patch, and there's like stuff all over the place. Like it pulls you out. Again, like I'm talking about immersion here, and from a immersive standpoint, being in the game, trying to like figure out which quest is which, and like dailies and weeklies and stuff. And I'm
It's
like,
all technical.
like, what am I even doing here? Like, why is this happening? And it's just it's almost overwhelming. And it feels
It's not
like
almost, it is.
when I do that type of stuff, I'm doing chores rather than immersing myself in the game and just like experiencing the game. And I think that's my biggest issue with modern WoW is when I log in, it's like I have to pull up my chore list and like check stuff off. Like, did I do my weekly? Did I do my daily? Did I do my dungeon? Did I do it right? And you're going down the list and you're just checking. And sure, you can kind of do that in classic WoW. Like you can make a checklist for yourself of like, here's the things I have to do.
Of what? Of kill 10 Quillboars? Which checklist you need in Classic? Listen, even badges for dungeons weren't that big of a deal. Like, yes, there were dailies, true. But, I mean, once you got enough badges, you were kind of done with it. So it's not that big of a deal in my opinion, and you can afford to miss a day or two. It honestly wasn't that bad. So this form of dailies was acceptable. I would still be happy if it was abolished, but this was okay. I guess it was fine. But no, he's absolutely right. These are chores. These are dark patterns. You don't want this in your games. This is something you do to grab the attention of whales and addicts. Basically, it completely turns away people such as myself. Because I'm not into that FOMO garbage, okay? I'm just too old for that shit. I'm 28, dude. Like, I literally had my birthday, 3 days ago. I'm old. I'm about to be bald. I had enough. Okay, I don't want any of this. I don't want to waste my time doing a checklist. I just want to have fun and immerse myself in a game that I love with a community that I appreciate.
But it's not the game kind of telling you what to do. And so when you do that, I think the immersive part of just going into the world and being like, what am I going to do in this world, right? Like, you're just a part of it. One of the things I love about Classic WoW is you're just another adventurer out in the world, and you're going on the hero's journey. And you're just trying to make it in the world, right? Like you start out, you're just some person, and then you play through the world, you go through the world, and you kind of earn your stripes and you earn your title. Yeah. And it's like,
I'm
hey,
28.
You know what? Now you are like a pretty important part of this world. Now you are becoming a hero. And I think the weird part about retail WoW that kind of pulls me out of that immersion aspect is they're like, it's you, champion, the chosen one. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess I've been playing for like 20 years, right? It's like, all right, yeah. But then somebody that's been playing for like 5 years also gets the same treatment. Somebody that's been playing for like 3 months can also be at the same tier of you.
No, that's not a real problem. The real problem is them calling you a champion and then you need to give them 10 bear asses. That's the problem. It's completely immersion breaking, and in the old World of Warcraft world, you were a nobody. You just bunch yourself with another hoodlum, and you made progress together. Eventually, you teamed up with 39 more hoodlums, and you went to a raid. That's how it worked. It made sense, and it was beautiful. There was no reason whatsoever to change it into a single player where you're the sole hero of Azeroth. You're the one saving it. It's cringe. It's cringe self-insert millennial writing. Nobody likes that shit save for a few Blizzard employees. And you need to make sure that this is gone. Along with the employees, by the way. Just completely give the boot to Holly Longdale and the entire HR department.
And they're just like, you're the chosen one, man. Like, you're gonna save
you
the
team up with
world
woke
and help
Labubu.
Azeroth and all this stuff. And then you're like, okay. And then you talk to your friend, and your friend's like, no, wait, I'm the chosen one. I'm gonna save Azeroth. And some other guy.
We're all the chosen ones.
I'm the hero. I'm gonna save Azeroth. And so it just becomes like
that. For that reason, I hated Legion artifacts for the sake of soul immersion. I think artifacts themselves as an idea were great. But, like, in terms of immersion, like, oh, you get an Ashbringer, you get an Ashbringer, it was, like, it was way immersion breaking.
It
was way too
like
much.
The gear argument, where if everybody's a hero, then, like, nobody's a hero. Or if everybody's like a chosen champion hero, I guess I should say, because like everybody's a hero technically. It's kind of like the epics, right? If everybody has epic gear, it's not epic anymore. It's just common. Like if everybody has the same gear, it's just common gear. It's just they painted it purple and go like, yeah, that's epic. And I think a lot of the lore that ties into the world-ending threats every expansion plays into that. Like we need the ultimate hero champion to save the world, right? And it almost like amplifies that need of you wanting to be this big hero. And like to me personally, it just becomes this thing of I don't want to be the most important person in all of Azeroth or the hero of the world. Like I just want to be somebody that's a part of the world. And that doesn't mean I have to be a blacksmith or whatever, but
Azeroth,
like some little guy living in a house somewhere. But like I want to just be part of the world in some way.
It was so good.
The most important person.
So good to laugh on.
And I think that's just a much more immersive experience. And there might be other people that like being the champion of Azeroth. That's fine. And it's kind of hard to even...
If they love it, just play a single-player game. MMORPGs are not for you, son. Like, if you love Magni yapping in your ear that you're the sole hero of Azeroth, dog, you're in the wrong game. Like, this is not for you, okay? Like, just go play something else. Go be the hero in whatever game you choose to be in. World of Warcraft is not your thing.
Dodge that at this point because we have killed Titans, we've killed Arthas, we've killed like Illidan, we've killed all these heroes and everything. So we technically are like these insane champions, but I just hope they figure out a way to just knock it down a few pegs. You know what I mean? Because I'm just it really does.
You can do it without completely nuking the current story. You cannot do that because it's gone too far. You've already done too much. And I don't think any reoccurring villain would make the cut. So I think Zealotef should kind of end the world with The Last Titan, and I think Classic Plus should be the new standard. I think Blizzard does have a way out with this, and I really hope they would take that ticket.
Let's pull you out of it when everybody else is also a hero, and you're like, I'm the hero, and it's just, yeah, like I said, if everyone's the hero, nobody's the hero. Now, with all that being said, I kind of want to wrap this up with one of my favorite parts of retail WoW in terms of immersion, and that's a lot of the community events or holiday stuff, because...
Yes! He's talking about the Darkspear Troll Rainbow Dash Run. Yes, Chief. Dude, for some reason I missed it. I wish I was there. I wish I was there. I heard it was, like, it's a great event. Wait, did it actually happen? I don't even know. You know, I'm not been following up with the times. But people were excited for it. Yeah, for sure, for sure. There was a lot of discourse around it.
Much like the soup event with the Tuskar, it's not the most important event. It's nothing crazy, right?
I thought he meant something else.
Tuskar chef makes soup, but... It was one of my favorite parts of Dragonflight. Like, you just show up at the Tuskar area, and they're just like, hey, come on down. We're making a big pot of soup. And they're just stirring it up, and everyone's contributing and gathering stuff. And you see everybody else, like, contributing. You're like, dude, this is so fun, right? Like, everyone's working together, and it creates that sense of, like, immersion in the world and community. And you're all helping the Tuskar make this soup, and they're just like, hey, everybody come eat it, right? Those are some of my favorite events, like even helping the Ancients in the Emerald Dream. I enjoyed doing that, and I'm sure there's people that didn't enjoy doing it, but like those were some of my favorite events. And so it's one of the reasons I love holidays, where you have things like Brewfest, and everybody's gathered around at the festival, and everyone's, you know, drinking and running around, and it's like more music that immerses you in, right? And so... I really love those types of things because it makes it feel like the world is alive. It makes it feel like everybody's out and about, they're doing their thing, and, you know, it's nothing groundbreaking. We're not saving the world, but we're just living in the world of Warcraft. And so it actually gets really depressing or kind of sad or eerie to me even when I go to something like Brewfest and it's like an empty server or just nobody's there. Like maybe it's towards the end of Brewfest.
Or it completely filled with bots. Yeah, don't forget about option number 3 there, which is the most likely one.
People have already gotten all their stuff, and you're just, like, walking around. It's just empty. And I'm just kind of like, I guess I'll get a beer or do my ram racing. It's just you walking around alone. Maybe one person, like, runs by, and it's just like... And you're just like... Okay, like that's another thing that just pulls me out of the immersion, because I'm like, where are the people at? Like, is the game dying? Like, that really does pull me out. So I think the main point I'm trying to get at here with everything that I've gotten at is there's a lot of different things that make up immersion, and some of them impact the game, I'd say, more than others, and some of them maybe even impact certain people more than others, right? Like some people might feel very immersed when they're doing all these like RPG elements, like buying arrows or doing these things, and other people might not feel immersed at all. I'd say it's also a very subjective type of thing to, you know, deal with, like different.
He's absolutely right, and that's what actually makes developing an MMO so difficult, because you always have that constant struggle balancing between immersion and gameplay, right? There's always this discussion, and Jeff Kaplan used to talk about it like way back in the day when he actually worked on World of Warcraft, right? You know, the famous quotes of dragons don't actually hide loot beneath their wings. Yeah, you know, that's true, right? That's obviously. So, I mean, yeah, you always have that constant discussion, but I think if Blizzard actually were talented and had some competent people, they would have managed to pull this off like they had back in the day.
People are going to have different things that immerse them into a world, but at the end of the day, I think most people want to be immersed in the world. Most people want to live in the world and feel like they're a part of this world, and it really can pull you out of it when so many of these little things add up, and it hits a point where you're just like, why am I not feeling that sense of immersion? And I think all of these little things going one way or the other way, right, making you feel immersed or not feel immersed, really do add up and change how you feel. And so yeah, I just want to make that video and rant about immersion because it's been a topic that's just been on my head for a while. So thanks for watching. If you want more videos, I just made...
Yeah, dude, this guy's great. I think that's the second video of him that I watched. This video, he absolutely cooked. Thank YouTube for recommending it to me, I think. But I'm gonna leave a link in the description. You guys should watch it for yourself. Give him a like. That was amazing. Yeah, it was absolutely right about everything. Absolutely. So, guys, now we're gonna watch some Guild Wars 2 stuff. You ready for that? Oh, shit. Guys, I don't know who this man is. Okay, I have no idea. But I think his video about Guild Wars 2 looks good. So we're gonna give it a watch. Pug, who is this? Exactly. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, okay, at least you didn't get dislike bombed. I guess that's that's something to appreciate. Yeah, at least you didn't get dislike bombed. That's okay. Wait, let's see the thumbnail again. Let's see. Nice AI thumbnail, by the way. But it's broken. Reveal truth. Okay, cool. I mean, that's cool. That's a cool thumbnail. To be fair, barely anybody saw the bloody thing. That's okay. You've got protection. Yeah, that's one of many. Classic. Classic. But your first one was, like, this was an AI, right? Like this one. You know, the OG video that got you famous. I don't think that's AI. I think you made it, right? Maybe you made it with AI for some reason. That would be impressive. But yeah. Okay, let's watch your video. We have two Guild Wars videos. Nah, that one was mine. I only made a chick look more gay with AI. But I didn't say. Oh, I see. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But this is an interesting video, and we're gonna watch this after. Unfortunately, I actually like this guy, and apparently he really hated Guild Wars 2. Of course, he was being clowned upon, and got disliked, bombed into oblivion. Because, I don't know, I guess he criticized the game. I haven't really watched it. I haven't rewatched it. We need to kind of watch it for ourselves. But yeah, okay, let's see. So, wait, how long is this? 11 minutes? Nice. Let's go. Guys, everyone, cheer for Barbuck video. I mean, I don't know this guy, but cheer for him. Chem, can we send video suggestion here? How does it work? On Discord. You send on Discord. You have a video suggestion thing. You can type exclamation point Discord if you want link, or you can just look in the description. It's in the description. You can just go there. But yeah, let's start your video. I heard this guy is mega supporting Republican. I heard this guy like hated colors, like literally he hated the rainbow, especially the color purple. That's what I heard. But yeah, you know, that's at least from my perspective. I don't really know anything about this guy. So we have a very interesting viewer-recommended video. Guild Wars 3 doesn't feel like Guild Wars. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's goddamn right. That's great. Wait, on Guild Wars 3 exclusively, right? Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good one, I can tell. I'm actually excited. I was waiting for this shit. Everyone who loved Guild Wars, by the way, wake up. It's time to respect our homie Barbuck. So yeah, as I was saying, Guild Wars 3 doesn't feel like Guild Wars. I don't know. We've only watched a 30-second teaser, but I think you're right. It looks to be very DEI-coded Unreal Engine 5 slop, but we still don't have all of the information. But I don't know. It's another point on the graph which you can draw a line to a pretty solid conclusion.
When the Guild Wars 3 trailer dropped, my first thought was pretty simple. What the hell am I looking at? And apparently, I wasn't the only one.
Yeah,
Because
Friday
within
streams,
minutes,
nobody's
people
here
were calling
almost.
it High God too. Other people thought it was some random Unreal Engine fantasy game. Some people genuinely didn't realize it was Guild Wars until the title card appeared. And honestly, that's a problem. Not because the trailer looked bad, because it looked like everything else. Now.
Exactly. And people hated me for saying that too. People literally hated me for thinking it was Highguard 2 initially before like the title card dropped, because I did not recognize it was Guild Wars. It didn't look anything like it. It looked like Concord. It looked like Highguard 2. It looked like every Unreal Engine 5 slop we had in the past 5 years. So how am I at fault here? Not recognizing, like, oh, don't you recognize the Ring of Ore? No, dude. Like, I'm not that of a Guild Wars 2 lore Andy. I only recently started playing the game. I'm still before Path of Fire. So, I didn't recognize that. And don't you think it's bad that people who played the game more than I do, like literally for years, since it came out pretty much, did not recognize the game? Don't you think that's a problem?
When I first saw the reveal, I thought that was going to be my entire criticism. Guild Wars 3 doesn't look like Guild Wars. Simple, video over. But then ArenaNet released their
Nice
philosophy
bunny ears.
book. Then more interviews started coming out. Then more details started appearing. And that's when something weird happened. My concerns didn't get smaller, they got bigger. Because the more ArenaNet...
Of course they got bigger, because the interviews didn't explain anything. The interviews and the letters they've sent, which we read, is all about obfuscating. Nothing is concrete. They intentionally use a very coded language, so you can't really know what's coming. And I think what they're doing right now is they're actually scouting the surface. And if I'm not wrong about my prediction, I think that they're about to delay the game. I think they will delay the game. This is a prediction that I have. Some may call it a premonition, but I'm telling you, they will delay the game. Especially after the beta comes out, people will try it and they won't be into it. I think ArenaNet will delay it.
Explains Guild Wars 3, the less unique it starts feeling. And I think that's a much bigger problem than a trailer. Let's start with the reveal itself. Forget the interviews. Forget the philosophy blog. Forget everything ArenaNet has said since. What did they actually show us? Some beautiful landscapes, some cinematic character shots, a group standing on a mountain, a character running up a wall. That's basically it. Now, before anyone gets defensive, this isn't me saying the trailer looked ugly. It didn't. The environment looks great, I guess. The lighting looks great, I
No,
guess.
of course, Unreal Engine 5 looks great. It's not about the way that the game look anymore. It's just how it looks. Art will always beat photorealism. I don't know why they went for this art style, especially when Guild Wars 2 is one of the best looking MMOs to this day. In my opinion, at least. I know some people, you know, there's this New World guy who clearly disagrees with me, but I think Guild Wars 2 looks fantastic, dude. I always said that. And it's only due to the art. It looks like a painting. This just looks like every other Unreal Engine slop. Why would you ever opt for this? It doesn't make any sense.
The production value is clearly somewhat there. The problem is that beautiful isn't the same thing as distinctive. Modern Unreal Engine 5 has created a weird situation. It's easier than ever to make something look impressive. But it's also easier than ever to make something look like everything else. And while I was watching the reveal, I kept asking myself the same question.
Are these the graphics?
If you remove the title card...
Bro, no one gave me credit for finding this dude. Everyone is clowning on him. I was literally the one who found him. And everyone copied me. I found him when he had 200 views. I looked at the title, I went like, damn, that sounds way too good. I watched the video, In the first minute, I was like, this is going to be a banger. And by the way, we have a very similar video coming after this one. So stay tuned. It's going to be a good one.
How many MMO players would
I love
correctly
Reaction
identify
Fridays.
this as Guild Wars? Honestly, I don't think many. And that's strange. Because Guild Wars used to be one of
He stopped uploading. I think he quit. What my life would be without Kenergy. Yeah, that's crazy. I know. You think I haven't been waiting for the update video? Of course I know that. Nah, he's gone, dude. He's gone. It's so unfortunate. I really wanted him to have a redemption arc. I really wanted him to have a redemption arc because he said in the comments that he will try Guild Wars 2 again. And he's gonna give it like more than an hour. So I was looking forward to this. I guess we're not getting anything good.
the easiest
Such a damn
MMORPGs
shame.
to identify from a single screenshot. Go back and look at Guild Wars 2. Not the gameplay, not the systems, just the art. You knew immediately what game you were looking at. The painterly environments, the color palette, the silhouettes. The work of Daniel
looks
Dochu
so
and
good.
Keikai Kotaki helped create one of the strongest visual identities in the MMO genre.
Yes.
Lots of games are pretty. Very few games are recognizable. World of Warcraft is recognizable. Elden Ring is recognizable. Dark Souls is recognizable. Guild Wars used to be one of those games. And I think that's what veterans were looking for when this trailer dropped. Not gameplay, not systems, identity. Something that immediately said, this is Guild Wars. Instead, a lot of people saw another modern fantasy game. And if that had been the only issue, fine. Maybe the gameplay reveal fixes everything. But then ArenaNet released their philosophy block. And that's where things got interesting. Because suddenly, we weren't talking about visuals anymore. We were talking about the future of the franchise.
Oh man, you're gonna talk about how Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 3 are going to be pay to win? I mean, we had this discussion so many times, I really don't want to open it again. Guys, I'm just going to... let's go to the end part, where I say pay for convenience is pay to win, and Guild Wars 2 does have pay to win, but it's not that bad of a form of pay to win. It's manageable, it's doable, so I kind of live with it, and that's why most people accept it. But Guild Wars 2 is pay to win, okay? You can literally convert gems into gold and buy something. I don't care that your definition of pay to win is player power. If someone's not having more power over you in PvP or raids, it doesn't count. Like, no, that's not pay to win. I mean, that's obviously pay to win, but that's not the only form of pay to win. Pay to win comes in so many forms, shapes, and sizes. If someone can do a process in 50% of the time that it takes you to do it, that's pay to win, because time is the most valuable resource, and if you can pay to save it, that's pay to win.
When ArenaNet
We're not gonna go
released
into
the
that.
philosophy block, I was actually optimistic. Because finally we'd had something more substantial than a cinematic trailer. And to be fair, there's some genuinely interesting details in there. Guild Wars 3 apparently sits somewhere between Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2. Not fully instanced, not fully open world. Somewhere in the middle. Okay, interesting. That's probably the most useful thing they've said so far. But then I kept reading, and I started noticing something. Almost everything ArenaNet is giving us right now is philosophy, not design. They're telling us what they believe, not showing us what they're building, and that's a huge difference. This wasn't announced as another MMO or another game. It was announced as
next evolution of the MMORPG.
That's an enormous claim. The kind
Yeah.
of claim that
They did flew way too close to the sun with this one. I think they've gone a little over the top, because I don't know if they were just trying to create hype or something, but you can't really have these bold claims without any backings. Like, that's what took me by surprise, because if ArenaNet just said, listen, Guild Wars 3 is cooking right now, we're brewing something good, and then they just dipped, I would have loved that. I would have accepted that. But you came out with all of these bold claims and nothing to prove? That's kind of weird to me. I don't know, it just screamed a red flag to me.
makes people expect revolutionary ideas, new systems, new solutions, new approaches. Instead, the first major philosophy discussion focused on things like respecting player time, convenience purchases, Modern player
Ooh.
expectations, no battle pass, no subscription. And look, those aren't bad things. The
No,
problem
these are
is
great.
that I've heard all of this before. Because over the last decade, almost every live service game has started speaking the exact same language. And that's when something clicked for me. The trailer looked like every other
Oh my god, the music you were using there. Oh god, that was so good. You think I didn't recognize those 3 horns in the background? Of course I did.
modern fantasy game. And now,
God
the
bless
philosophy
you.
block sounds like every
God bless
modern
you.
live service game. And here's the part that genuinely made me laugh, because after reading the philosophy block,
So
I
good.
realized there actually is one thing that immediately
Hold on.
feels recognizably Guild Wars.
Sorry, I lost focus. I lost focus. Oh my god, you sent me back so many years with this one. Oh, that was so good. Apologies. I got a little bit sidetracked.
The monetization.
Let's focus on the video.
Seriously. The trailer doesn't look like Guild Wars. The art direction doesn't look like Guild Wars. The philosophy doesn't particularly sound like Guild Wars. The evolution of the MMO pitch doesn't feel like Guild Wars. But the second I started reading about convenience purchases, I thought, there it is. Now, before someone writes a Bible of a YouTube comment explaining why convenience isn't pay to win, I should probably
Actually-
clarify something. I consider convenience purchases a form of pay to win. I always have. If 2 players
It's not about you considering it, it's about literally being pay to win. Listen, I hate the argument of whoever trying to defend pay to win in Guild Wars 2 as, oh, I don't care about it. Listen, brother, that's argument from authority. You can never use an argument from authority because I may disagree upon the authority which you draw your information from. In this case, I disagree with you. So we can objectively all say that someone cutting time from a process is objectively pay to win if he is doing that by paying real life money. Now, you can say that your definition of a win is like completely different, and that's fine. Again, that's you. But objectively speaking, someone doing the same process as you do in 50% less time, for an example, it's pay to win.
start in the same place and one player can spend money to save time,
Yeah,
skip
I will say it's more fair pay to win than other, let's say, a Korean MMO slop, and that's why people like generally accept it, but it's still pay to win. I just hate it when people lie that it's not. That's what makes me angry. Because I play Guild Wars 2 and I'm having a blast. I don't care about this, but I really hate it when people just lie to themselves.
friction, skip progression, or reach a goal faster, that's an advantage. You can call it convenience. I call it buying progress. And buying progress is a form of winning. You are welcome to disagree. But that's the definition I'm using. And the irony here is incredible, because right now the monetization feels more recognizably Guild Wars than the game itself. That's not a compliment, because if the strongest connection I can make between Guild Wars 3 and Guild Wars 2 is the cash shop philosophy, while everything else looks and sounds like another Unreal Engine live service fantasy game, then I think ArenaNet has a much bigger problem than people realize. Maybe this is where my cynicism starts showing. But after 20 years of MMORPGs, I've noticed
Steven!
every
Wow.
game eventually starts sounding the same. Every studio
Dude, I missed that guy. Where is he? He's still working on Ashes of Creation. I heard that game was about to blow up. I heard that game is going to save MMOs. It is going to be the next WoW killer. What happened to it? It's like we never heard about it.
talks about innovation. Then the details arrive. And suddenly, everybody is solving the same problem, the same way, the same
Yeah, what? The thing is, pedantic people like you and I will call it pay to win because it technically is, but normal person hears Guild Wars 2 and thinks pay for power like Lost Ark, Iron 2, and Throne and Liberty. I understand what you're saying. I had a viewer saying the exact same thing of don't say pay to win because it has a negative connotation, and I do agree with this. Like, pay to win does have has a negative connotation. And I do understand, and that's why I don't really judge those people. But at the same time, we have to call it what it is, because it is pay to win, right? But that's why whenever I call Guild Wars 2 pay to win, I always say that it's moderate, and it's not like a Korean MMO slop.
progression philosophy, the same monetization philosophy, the same audience strategy, the same language. Eventually, every game starts drifting toward the same destination. A broad fantasy live service game designed for everyone. And that's exactly what worries me. A game for everyone is a game for no one.
Yes,
Guild Wars wasn't
true.
successful because it followed trends. Guild Wars became Guild Wars because it ignored them. Guild Wars 1 was weird. Guild Wars 2 was even weirder. They
Yep.
had opinions.
And that's exactly, even though I love vertical MMOs more than horizontal one, I'm glad Guild Wars 2 is a horizontal MMO. Because it may not be for me or people like me, but it's for you guys. And you love it. And you enjoy it. And don't get it wrong, I love it too. I will never love it as World of Warcraft, but I love Guild Wars 2 for what it is. And I'm so glad they made it horizontal. If you would have given me the option to change it into a vertical game, I wouldn't do it. Because I appreciate the fact that it is so different. That's the great thing about it. And that's why I'm so mad about Guild Wars 3 looking up and shaping to be Destiny 2. I don't want Guild Wars 3 to be Destiny 2. I want it to be Guild Wars 3. I wanted to completely renovate the genre. I wanted to do something different. But I guess we're not going to see that.
Took risks. They stood apart. The Guild Wars 3 reveal feels like it's moving in the opposite direction. Toward familiarity, toward safety, toward convergence. And if ArenaNet had announced a brand new MMO IP and shown me all of this, I'd probably say, interesting, show me more. But that's not what they announced. They announced Guild Wars 3. And the numbered sequel has to justify its existence. Let's go back to 2010, because this is where the comparison becomes uncomfortable. When Guild Wars 2 was announced, ArenaNet didn't tell us
2010. Where was I at 2010? I think I was in 6th grade. Damn, that's crazy. How time goes by, huh? That's insane. I bet most of y'all were being like in a carriage or something. I didn't really know. Like a baby carriage? Man, that's insane. We're olden. We're olden, guys. That's crazy. I mean, wow, this game is truly old and is still actually hold the test of time. Guild Wars 2 is still enjoyable, and I think not much has changed since then. It's, I mean, obviously a lot has changed in technical aspects and stuff, but mainly, like, the gameplay and stuff, I don't know. I've seen videos from the old days. Kind of feels the same.
Trust me, bro. They showed their work.
They
The
should make
design
Guild Wars
manifesto
classic.
Wasn't marketing. It was an argument. Here's what's wrong with MMOs. Here's how we are fixing it. Here's the gameplay. Here's the proof. You didn't have to imagine Guild Wars 2. ArenaNet explained it, then demonstrated it, then let people play it. That's a completely different communication strategy. One earns trust, the other asks for it. And right now Guild Wars 3 feels much closer to the second approach. First came the teaser, then the promises, and then the philosophy. And we are still waiting for the systems. We are still waiting for proof. We are still waiting for the thing that supposedly makes this the evolution of the MMO. And that's why this video isn't really about Unreal Engine 5, or graphics, or monetization. It's about identity. Because every time ArenaNet talks about Guild Wars 3, I keep waiting for the thing that makes it unmistakably Guild Wars. And so far, I haven't found it. Maybe the gameplay reveal changes everything. Maybe 6 months from now on, I'll look like an idiot. And I genuinely hope that's what's gonna happen. Because I don't want another generic fantasy live service game. The industry already has enough of those. What I wanted were two things. I either wanted a continuation of Guild Wars 2 with an updated engine, just like Blizzard has done over the years.
Many people ask for that. I kind of wish it was Guild Wars 2.5 as well, because I think Guild Wars 2 is like already doing a lot of things good, so I would just appreciate it, a graphical update so that New World guy may be happy and, you know, actually go back to making videos. But no, in all honesty, I just wanted an updated system. I don't really know why they decided to go with a whole new IP. I can't really tell why they thought it was good. I think just an engine update for Guild Wars 2 would have been fine.
Instead of blaming everything on spaghetti code, maybe upgrade your engine. What I wanted was Guild Wars. Something that justifies why it exists. Something that earns the number on the box. Because right now, the trailer doesn't look like Guild Wars. The philosophy block doesn't sound like Guild Wars. The so-called evolution of the MMO doesn't feel particularly revolutionary. And somehow, the most recognizable piece of Guild Wars DNA I've seen so far is the monetization. If that's the strongest connection between this game and the franchise it's named after, then I think ArenaNet has
The moneymaker.
And I think that's why so many veteran players walked away from the reveal asking the same question. Not, will this game be good? But why is this Guild Wars 3? Maybe I'm wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. But after the trailer, the interviews, and the philosophy blog, I still haven't found the thing that justifies the number 3. And honestly, that's the weirdest part. Because if ArenaNet had announced this as a brand new MMO IP, I'd probably be sitting here saying, interesting, show me more. But they didn't. They called it Guild Wars 3, so the bar is higher. Anyways, let me know what you think. Am I being unfair? Or are you also still waiting for the part that's supposed to be the evolution of the MMO? See you next time.
The art of Guild Wars
Okay.
2
Wait.
isn't about just creating cool graphics. It's about creating a cool painterly experience.
Classic. Classic. Just walking out. Damn. Wow, what a great video. What a great video. Of course, guys, I'm going to leave you a link in the description. You should watch it for yourself. Give this man a like. Truly a magnificent video. Too bad it's only 11 minutes long. But yeah, to kind of summarize, true. There's just not much to talk about. And many promises were liberally scattered around. I really hope they can actually back this up. I'm going to keep my head, above water. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to just completely drown myself. I'm not dooming. I'm not also shipping this game. I just kind of want to wait and see where it goes. But that being said, if you look at all the dots on the graph, you can almost draw a line. And that's not a good thing. That's a very bad thing. Now, okay, but many people don't want Guild Wars 2.5 as well. It was said many, many times. Whenever I say Guild Wars 2.5, I don't mean just an engine upgrade, right? I mean, they split their crew, right? I mean, literally take both of the crews of Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 3, mash them together, make them work together, make them create expansion at a really good rate of 2 years, not 1 year, like 2 years, and make the expansions way more significant rather than just one nut bust and that's it. And, just expand the game. I think that's good. Obviously, rework the game like they're already planning on doing. That's good. And just, that more of that kind of stuff. You don't really need Guild Wars 3. I don't think maintaining 3 games all at once is going to do good for them. ArenaNet is not that type of studio. They're always working the best when they're together and, working on one game. Splitting your crew isn't a good thing. You don't have that kind of budget either. So it's just going to be very, very problematic. Yeah, at this point, it's all still speculation. ArenaNet hasn't done anything to say that Guild Wars 3 is a scam. I'm gonna wait and see when they drop the gameplay, and they will. Guild Wars 3 is never a scam. I never said it was a scam. The game will release. And people will play it. The question is how much. I just don't think it's going to be a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. That's the problem. I think it's going to be like Destiny 2. And it's not really a problem, but we already had Destiny 2. I don't think that Guild Wars 3 is going to pull that audience in. Destiny 2 only worked because it was innovative for the time. And obviously the shooting was extremely good and the PvP was banging. But Guild Wars 3 won't have that liberty. So I'm very just confused about what they can do. New Guild Wars game should have been called Guild Wars before the rose blooms. Yeah, that could have been a good one. 100%. A perfect trailer can sell even a bad product. Yeah, true. Absolutely, I agree. But a bad one can do so much negative PR. I think the people who are currently just talking about the trailer is the people who already play Guild Wars 2 and love the game. The people who don't know Guild Wars 2, they weren't invested into Guild Wars 3. I've watched other streamer reactions from variety of MMOs like Asmongold Bold and XQC. Nobody really understood that it was Guild Wars 3, and whenever they saw the title card drop, they were like, oh, okay, and that's it. Everyone kind of just glimpsed over it. And that's a huge problem. If you can't capture your audience in the trailer, that's a really bad thing. You should have a really, really good trailer. You should make sure that people know that this is your game. Make it appear unique. Don't make it look like any other Unreal Engine 5 slop we had. And people would have been curious. So that's just unfortunate. I think it's one huge missed opportunity. Yeah, classic ArenaNet marketing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, are you ready for a banger of video? Zeers, are you watching this, motherfucker? I've seen you in the comments. I've seen you in the comments. You little bitch. You thought you can hide from me? I searched the comments and I watched you first. So we're gonna watch this video. I guess I got this video recommended to me by proxy. But yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good... Don't tell me anything, okay? Don't... I want to watch it for myself. I didn't watch anything about this. It's just a very interesting video. So yeah. I might be the weird one, but Medieval Destiny 2 with seamless open world with people running around sounds kind of fire. You're assuming it will be this way. Yeah, just watch Skyrim announcement trailer. Perfect announcement. There were so many. You know what's funny? Marathon... like teaser was insanely good. I still watch it. The game itself turned out to be trash, but like it's so good. Like it was so good. Yeah, ArenaNet marketing is an oxymoron. True. Man, ArenaNet marketing, I don't know who sent it. Someone sent it on Discord. I think it was Vic. He sent me like a random girl cosplaying for the new expansion. I was like, what the fuck is that? That was so trash. Like, who cares? It's only for people who already know the game. No one outside of Guild Wars 2 will ever understand it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, she was hot, and that was good. Like, I watched it a couple of times. Because you don't need two hands to watch it, but, like, it was good. It was a good announcement. I'm just joking. Of course. But, no, really. I mean, it was just a nothing burger. And also, I saw Rose Taxi video. It was... Well, what is that? Like, what were they doing? ArenaNet only like last year hired some marketing exec. They're still not doing a great job. They need to hire me. Got my first dislike after you just reacted. Oh, it was from me. No, okay, I'll balance it out with a like. Wait, I forgot to like your video. There you go. I'll balance it out. It's okay. It's okay. So yeah. Anyway, guys, are you ready for this one? Zeers, I know you already watched it. Don't ruin it. Now, this is going to be a very interesting video. We have another, are these the graphics? But this time it's from a guy that I actually like. I watched a couple of his videos, so I'm really surprised why he quit Guild Wars 2 after 5 hours. But at least it wasn't 1 hour, so we're gonna give him credit. Guys, don't be too hard on him. He actually commented on some of my videos. I know he's a great dude. I want to hear his reasoning. I haven't watched his video yet.
You know that feeling when one of your friends comes to you and shows you a video that they think it's funny, but as you watch it, you realize it is not funny at all to you? That moment when you don't know what to do because any decision can lead to an awkward moment? Or do you know that moment when you get rewarded for having diarrhea? That is how I felt playing Guild Wars 2 for the very first time. It took about 6 hours until that feeling made me quit. The reason I felt that way is because the game is absolutely surrounded by a huge wave of positivity right now. Inside of the game and
I wonder why.
outside of the game. On the internet, since the Guild Wars 3 announcement, a lot of people started playing and the general opinion online is positive. From the new people trying the game for the first time to the old players being hyped to see
the base game is free, by the way. You can try it for yourself.
Populated again. Inside of the game itself, I saw quite a few people talking about how cool the game is and that they enjoyed the experience. And all of it made me feel so weird because it made me feel like there was something wrong with me. I found almost no enjoyment in it at all. You see, about a year ago, I said...
And that's completely fine. Guild Wars 2 isn't for everyone. Like, no game is for everyone. And that's what made the game good. That it's not for everyone. I mean... World of Warcraft isn't for everyone, and people still enjoyed it. Yeah, you gotta understand. If you see a wave of positivity and everyone is like going, yeah, like this is so good, it must mean that a certain group of people just enjoy it. And you may not be a part of that certain group of people, and that's completely fine. Like, there's some MMOs that I don't like plenty of people play. Like, there's some games that other people like that I don't enjoy.
a goal for myself.
It's okay.
To try and play at least a few hours of 4 new MMOs. Elder Scrolls Online, which I did and I found it quite mediocre. FF14, which
It was
I
garbage.
did not try yet. Old school RuneScape
It's good.
that I absolutely love. And
I need to try RuneScape. I've been saying this for so much. Like, I've been saying that I need to try RuneScape for a year now. I wonder when people will actually catch on that I'm just procrastinating.
I still play today. And of course, Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars was the one that I knew the least about. Somehow, this game has never reached me in any way. The things I knew about it were extremely basic. So when Guild Wars 3 was announced, I figured out, you know what, there's no better time to finally give Guild Wars 2 a proper shot. But before I talk about my experience, there is one important disclaimer. My knowledge of the game is still pretty limited. I was only level 28 when I decided to quit. Now, I know some people will immediately say that I don't have the right to criticize the game or make a video like this because
You don't. You don't. That is nothing to make a conducive opinion about the game. Literally, that's zero time.
I barely scratched the surface. You know the argument, the game gets better and the game gets good 100 hours in. I think that's bullshit. 6 hours is more than enough to...
No, it's not. No, it's not, and you're completely wrong about that. Let me explain why. That is true only for single-player games, not for MMORPGs. MMORPGs always took time to appreciate, always, and you can go back as to Ultima Online or whatever, but I'll give you World of Warcraft Classic as an example. It wasn't Classic back in the day, obviously it was Vanilla, but let's go talk about World of Warcraft Vanilla, because this is the MMO, I'm known for, right? So, even in Classic World of Warcraft, you go back, you play it, what happens in the first, even 2 days? You're still in the same zone killing boars. You essentially do nothing. 90% of vanilla World of Warcraft is dead air. And people still loved it. Why did I love it? Because it was so slow. And at certain point, you were like, damn, for some reason I just can't quit this game. You don't really connect why. And only later, when you get to the higher part of the game and the more exciting stuff, you start to realize, I actually love the game because it was slow, I could absorb the world, I enjoy the music, I interacted with people, and suddenly all of those things land. Now the problem is, those things don't happen all at once. They happen through an entire process of you slowly and methodically playing the game and advancing through the routes. And it's the same thing for Guild Wars 2. The same rule applies. Now, obviously, Guild Wars 2 is kind of like retail World of Warcraft. It's really, really fast when it comes to leveling, so that is kind of abolished. But to meet the community, you must do meta events. To do meta events, you must be like, I think, max level. To do all of the exciting stuff, like fractals and stuff, you need max level. And to be honest, now that I think about it, to do all the fun stuff, you need to be max level. So, you being level 28... is literally nothing. It's like 2% to start having fun. So you should have invested more time into Guild Wars 2. You should have tried the endgame stuff, because the game is horizontal. Once you hit the endgame, it's essentially flatlining, and this is the point where you get to do whatever the hell you want. And this is where the fun begins. Now, for me, whenever I did my first playthrough for Guild Wars 2, I talked about this, it was like, 4 or 5 years ago, I quit after the Zaitan fight. Because I thought, okay, I'm max level, I did the endgame story, I'm not having fun, I'm quitting. And by the way, I was right to do so. So many people got filtered by the Zaitan fight, it's crazy. I'm glad they're reworking that now. But, I digress. You want to play even further than that. Because the Zaitan fight is just the beginning of your journey. But I guess he wouldn't know that. So, I can understand his point, but still, he's wrong.
Decide whether a game deserves another 20 hours, 50 hours of my life. Maybe Guild Wars 2 eventually becomes incredible at the endgame, maybe it doesn't, but as an adult, time is more valuable than money. It's one of the few
And there's no other MMO out there that respects your time more than Guild Wars 2.
resources you never get back, and we all have too little.
There just isn't.
So if the first 6 hours of a game are miserable, I am not going to treat the next 25 hours or something as an investment in the hope that I will eventually have fun. I'm just going to stop playing. And once I present you my problems with the game, I don't think it's gonna be hard to understand why I felt this way. From the very start, the game felt underwhelming and weightless. I decided to play as a Norn, made my character and was
My first character was a Norn. I played a Norn warrior. This guy's following my footsteps, but he didn't quit at the Titan fight. He was just filtered before that.
presented with an intro, which was alright, I guess.
It was good.
Amazing, not horrible. There is
What do you mean, bro? World of Warcraft, you're just being told, like, oh, dog, like, this is Elwyn Forest. Enjoy, go kill Hogger. Like, this was a great intro, but I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like bombastic cinematics. That's fine. I can accept that.
dragon and there is
I
this great
guess.
hunt where only the biggest and the baddest, most powerful warriors get to participate.
And
Come
that's cool.
adventure, come danger, the intro says. Okay, let's see how do we get into this hunt. I expected my entire intro storyline to be about it. A long journey of me proving that I am worthy. It took me about 6 minutes to get into the Great Hunt. 6 minutes that also included me jumping around, trying to pet a dog, changing the game settings and just not being focused on speed at all.
As opposed to World of Warcraft, where you spend your first hour configuring add-ons. True.
In these 6 minutes, beyond already getting into
But
this
that's fair,
Great
yeah.
Hunt where only the best are admitted, I was called hero 2 times and champions once. At this point, I wanted to jump off a cliff. If you played Retail World of Warcraft, this
Really?
must sound extremely familiar to you.
Yeah. It's like retail.
I may be using champion. Please, just a
Champion!
bit more.
As a Raphnesia! Yeah. This is too good! Oh my god, where did he get that video from?
I'm
Classic.
tired of being the
I
big
wish it
hero
was.
the second I spawn into the world. I have done literally nothing, and all it takes to get into this hunt that you talked about for half of the intro, is 6 minutes of extremely sloppy gameplay. One of the NPCs tells me that this season will be one of the most dangerous, so be careful out there. Can you imagine how the average season looks like? I don't know, they probably have to hunt butterflies or something. Then to complete
Damn, he
the
called
hunt,
it.
I have to fight Isormir, which once
They also have to smash pinatas, but he was like 50% right.
again, I am told stuff like, hopefully you will come out alive out of this battle. And of course, you auto-attack him to death for a few seconds,
Yeah.
and it dies. All
I agree. That's a huge problem with Guild Wars 2. The game is too damn easy. The game is way too damn easy, and I'm not talking about the raids. Like, oh, the raids are difficult, like we saw you die in a raid. Dog, I'm not talking about that. The open world is extremely forgiving. And I 100% agree. He has a very good point there. You can literally do anything you want in Guild Wars 2 until Heart of Thorns. Just mouse clicking. Okay, just literally basic attacks. That's it.
praise the champion, which is me of course, and the whole thing is over. You see, this is a great representation of what the rest of the gameplay will be for me. It all felt just so artificial, so immersion breaking, so weightless. It felt so similar to Retail World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
and that is the absolute last
right.
thing I want or need. I love a good
To be fair, this guy has some good points. He's not like the New World guy. He's actually giving some really, really great points of frustrations that I can agree, because I've experienced them myself. Again, it's just a matter of if you can go through the slog for the first time, you'll reach the good parts. But it's very difficult to tell someone like, hey, just play until Heart of Thorns, you'd be good. Like, it's very, very difficult. It's even before Heart of Thorns, like, you have to tell them, just play until the Zaitan fight and you'll do fine. It's really bad. I completely understand him.
challenge. I love hard raids. I love being competitive. But if you are going to put a 20 hours barrier or even longer, I don't know, between me and that point, you have to make that time be fun, one way or another. I don't know, good lore, good gameplay, or both at the same time, ideally. But I
Yeah,
found
unironically, Guild Wars 2 has one of the best lores out there. It's just that ArenaNet had absolutely no idea how to make it flash out. No idea. To this day, the most favorite mission I've done in Guild Wars 2 was the library where you had like the Abaddon statue you can dance in front of or you'll die. That was the best mission I've done in Guild Wars 2. Why? Because you got to a library with so many books filled to the brim with information about the expensive lore of expensive and extensive lore of Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 1. and it made a connection. It was so good. I remember reading for like 2 hours on stream. That was crazy. Like, I was so drawn in by the lore, but again, ArenaNet never flashed it out. That's a huge problem.
None of those. So I continue with
Yeah,
my
the reading
journey
stream?
and nothing
Exactly.
really changes. Actually, as I start understanding the game more, things only get worse. First thing I notice are the pop-ups. Every time I level up,
Yep.
I get like 3 pop-ups on my screen. And since I level extremely fast, that happens quite a lot. Every time I
Yep.
finish a quest or an objective.
Facts. I always said the same thing. Dog, cut the pop-ups. Like, it's too annoying. It's too annoying. It's way too many items. I understand that they wanted to make each level exciting. Just condense it. Like, Guild Wars 2 inventory management isn't supposed to be learned until you hit the end game, and then you just want to throw yourself off a cliff. Okay? Like, at least let the new guys have it easy.
Whatever, pop-ups. Every time I get close to some
Exactly.
point of
Look at
interest,
that!
pop-ups. The game is filled with pop-ups
Oh my
that
God.
are so immersion breaking and
And he
annoying.
had the event
I
items
get
too.
rewarded with
Poor
chests
guy.
upon chests upon chests with random loot every time I take a step. My bags are absolutely full at all times, but I never loot anything, and half of the bag slots are not even actually items, but unopened chests that contain a bunch of other items
Yeah.
in each one. Because
So
God
annoying.
forbid we don't reward players at every single step. God forbid we don't reward players for taking a shit.
To this day, I'm so mad about doing one meta event in Guild Wars 2 because it just completely bombards your inventory. You do the entire train of Auric Basin, like you do Tarir, then you go to Chagarant, and then you go to do the airplane stuff like Verdant Brink meta. You do this train. Bro, your inventory better be stacked because like that's crazy. I mean, by stacked, I mean literally you have 20 different bags or some shit because that is way too much. That is just crazy, and it's so annoying to open all of this and then salvaging and then going to the auction house. It's too much, man. Like, it's way too much. They need to cut half of this.
Would not like them to quit the game, would we? This modern MMO design is absolutely horrible.
Yeah, and you definitely need
Pop-ups
those back
everywhere,
slots.
loot chests spawning in my inventory non-stop, being called hero and champion from the start, getting into the big hunt and finishing it under 10 minutes. You know what this feels like? It feels like I'm playing a video game. This doesn't feel like I'm part of an adventure. This doesn't feel immersive, but it also ain't fun from a gameplay point of view. As in, really, what could be fun about this gameplay? I do tasks, and I do tasks. They don't take any skill, they don't present any danger, they're not interesting, I just auto-attack everything until it dies. And after I finish a task, the game itself makes sure I do not find anything organically through exploration. God
What?
forbid I miss something. The game just
Really? Did he just say that about Guild Wars 2? Like the game known for meta events? I think he was just ignoring stuff. What do you mean by but I didn't find anything? In the base game, I found so many secrets. Like literally, you have all of these meta events. You have Aether Blade caches. You have the secret labs. You have secret chests. You have secret jumping puzzles. I'm very confused. Yeah, I think again he's level 28, so he just didn't see that. But that's such a weird, bold claim. No, that's completely false.
points me to the next point of interest every time. Quest here, vantage point here. Hero, what the fuck are you doing? You just passed the waypoint without taking it. Are you insane? Hero, it's time to help Albin Chronicler trade with the Jotun tribe. Hero, like, who is Albin? Who are the Jotun? Why do they
He's
want to
right
trade?
about that.
Why can't they trade? What's the problem?
Yeah, he's right about that. Like, again, he's going back to the story isn't being explained to you, and he's 100% right. That's ArenaNet fault, 110%. You can tell me that the story of Guild Wars 2 is fleshed out. Nobody understands anything. You need to go to the wiki to understand something, and it's very, very unfortunate. He's so dramatic. Yeah, of course, he's a WoW player. What do you think? I know, I'm a WoW player. What do we want? We're stupid, bro. We need stuff to be explained to us. They can't know shit from the environment. We don't get it. No, I mean, we need environmental telling, and Guild Wars 2 does that greatly, but you need, like, more tangible stuff.
I don't speak to anyone, and all these tasks just pop up on the screen. I finish them and I get rewarded experience.
No, when he says auto attacks, he doesn't mean literally. He means you can auto attack and complete the game using auto attacks, which he's 100% right about, by the way. But you can tell from his gameplay, he's using abilities. Like, don't try to get a gotcha moment on him like that.
Points, but I don't know what I'm even doing. It's all just a treadmill of running around and completing chores. And here's the thing. This is one of the very few things
Running around and completing chores is the bane of every MMO. I mean, bane of their existence, but it's also their foundations. You can't really put this on Guild Wars 2. Every MMO, if you... Oh, jeez, what a voice crack. Nice. Every MMO, if you distill it, it's you completing chores. You think World of Warcraft Classic, Vanilla World of Warcraft wasn't you completing chores? Of course it was. Save for the late game stuff, it was always about you completing chores. You giving 10 bare asses to a random NPC is a chore. You picking up flowers for some lady is a chore. You carrying over a package to a guy at Menifil Harbor is a chore. Everything is a chore. The thing is, do you like it or not? Do you like the world? Do you like the mission you're set upon? Like Frodo carrying the ring to Mount Doom is a chore. It's a difficult one, but it's a chore. So it's all depending on how you view it at the end of the day.
already knew about Guild Wars before playing it. These dynamic world events that are supposed to be one of the game's biggest strengths. They're beloved by the community and constantly brought up as an example of what Guild Wars 2 does differently. But if you played modern World of Warcraft, for example, these just felt a lot like world quests. And just like world quests in WoW, some of them barely require you to participate in order.
Wow, I'm very surprised. The new World of Warcraft expansion look very similar to Guild Wars 2. I wonder why.
To get rewarded and are just boring. Remember at the beginning of the video when I talked about being rewarded for having diarrhea? It actually happened. I went AFK for 30 minutes because I had to take a shit. When I left, I was level 20. When I came back, I was level 22. I hadn't been at my computer. People around me completed events while my character stood there, and I still got experience for it. There are also some
Wow, that was such a World of Warcraft quote. Holy shit. You guys heard that? Nah, he's a true WoW player. He said I was just stealing it. Bro doesn't know about communal effort. But no, I understand why a WoW player would say that. To a WoW player, like sharing XP and all of this stuff, it's like, what? You don't steal your tag? What? It's so good. I actually love that he said that. That's beautiful. That was such a self-report that you're playing WoW. I mean, I know this guy, so I know he's a WoW player. But no, that was so funny. I mean, listen, even retail copied that from Guild Wars 2. You have shared experience in retail World of Warcraft. You have shared tags. And there's a reason for it. It makes the game feel way more communal. It's way more fun when you don't have to wait 2 minutes for a boss to spawn or whatever. Even if you do one hit and you pretty much steal the entire experience for yourself as well, you're not really stealing. You're getting it as well. Now, have you leached progress off other people? 100%. Is it kind of a dick move? True. Might just be. But at the same time, it makes everyone else have more fun. So I think a few AFK leechers is worth the price of the community that comes from it. In my opinion, it's worth it.
Quests for the Norn. The last one I needed was the Spirit of the Raven. You have to go and do some tasks for the shamans. I traveled all the way there, talked to the shaman, and he was like, nah, you already did it. At first I thought maybe I'd done it earlier and simply forgotten, so I googled it to see what the task was like, to see if I actually did it. And no, I have never done that. Unless my cat secretly logged into my account or someone broke into my house to play some Guild Wars. The only explanation is that I just passively completed it at some point without even realizing it. I don't know. This is a huge problem to me. When a game is handing out progression so freely that I can gain XP while AFK and complete objectives without even knowing they existed, it starts to feel less like an adventure and more like a conveyor belt. Like, I don't know, people talk about these events and about the exploration of Guild Wars 2 being so good, and I really feel like I'm insane or something. Is it wrong that I don't feel like I'm actually exploring when the game is always pointing me towards the closest point of interest, no matter what it is? one of these brainless events.
Because the other things aren't a point of interest. You can't find them unless you explore for them. You only went for the explorable stuff, and then you're surprised you found them. Of course, you followed the arrow crazy taxi style. You didn't go on a limb and try to get into that nook inside of a cave and found out it was an Aetherblade pirate cache. You didn't try to go on some weird looking raft or pole or some sort of like wire line, like electricity line, and discovered it was a hidden jumping puzzle in Lion Arch. You never done that. That's why you're saying all of these things. You haven't experienced it because you haven't tried. You just followed the arrow and called it a day. And that's a huge problem.
A waypoint, a quest, a vantage point, literally anything. I don't know, Elden Ring or Morrowind have great exploration, okay?
Yeah, and
would it be weird to say it would be kind of ruined if at all freaking times you would have an arrow on your screen pointing you directly towards the nearest point of interest to you, whatever it is, all the time? Also,
you can disable it if you don't like it. I mean, you can, right? I mean, yeah, so many people have. Like, it's just, I don't get this point. I really am trying to understand. Some points is very, very reasonable, and some points is just completely unhinged. That's the part. Yeah, just turn it off. I mean, if you really don't want them, just turn it off.
the fast travel in this game. Old school gamers will say
I guess
that
they wouldn't know
all
that.
fast travel is bad, but that's not true. Depends on the game. But the extremes are almost never a good idea. Having no fast travel or having a ton of...
The fast travel existed because you never had mounts previously. That being said, I really do hate Guild Wars fast travel. Especially when you have such an exciting mount. Like, I think the fast travel is so bad. And I hate Azura for making them.
is very risky and can only work in very specific types of games. Guild Wars 2 has the biggest amount of fast travel possible. If you thought something like modern WoW makes the world feel small because of how fast you can get from one point to another, wait
I
until
agree
you
with
see
this
Guild
point.
Wars 2,
I
where
agree.
you can just click one of the million waypoints on the map and get instantly teleported anywhere. Also,
To be fair, they fixed it in the expansions. As far as I've seen from Heart of Thorns, you don't have many waypoints. You have like a giant map and only 3 waypoints. I don't know if it's true and applicable to the other expansions. I haven't reached those. I'm about to hit Path of Fire. But in Heart of Thorns, it is true. So, again, it's kind of a base game thing. But I do understand because that's his entire perspective. Yeah, because they added mounts, obviously, right? So, he wouldn't know that.
like, it wasn't bad enough. In my experience up to level 28, the game did not feel open world either, which makes everything even worse because it was already feeling super artificial, but the amount of loading screens and instance zones I had to go through is insane. Every zone is quite big, not gonna lie, but they are all separated by portals and loading screens. And even inside these zones, there are other portals and loading screens to instanced versions of it for the main storyline or for some dungeons or something.
To be fair, only World of Warcraft has managed to go full no loading screens. Only Blizzard managed to pull it off. No other MMO has, as far as I'm aware of. I think even Rift has some loading screens. But maybe Rift got close, and that's it. Nobody managed to pull this off. Nobody. So this is like not a Guild Wars 2 hate stuff. Like, it is what it is. They didn't have the talent to pull this off. And what can I say, right? Like, nobody can be old Blizzard. Nobody. Only Blizzard can. Lord of the Rings Online? Lord of the Rings Online had no loading screens? I haven't played that, so if that's the case, kudos.
And the last thing I want to touch on before I give my final opinion is the story. I give this as an example quite often about how
Yeah, the
powerful
story is
the story
trash.
of a game can be. To me, at least. My favorite game is Silent Hill 2. And if I was to describe the gameplay of that game in one word, I would choose the word trash. But the story, the story is why it is my favorite game of all time. The story I experienced in Guild Wars 2
Yeah.
is a story, I guess. It's
This guy is exactly like me. I can tell. We're the same type of players. We're the same WoW DJing brain that really likes to be immersed in the world and the story. And that is something that is very difficult to do in Guild Wars 2. I bet he doesn't even care about the gameplay, really. He was just so mad that the story wasn't explained to him, and he constantly jumped from teleport to teleport. And when I put myself in his shoes, I can completely understand why he quit the game.
not bad. It's a chain of events. It's made out of things that happen one after another. It happens in chronological order. I might even add that it involves characters, and that is the most I could say about it. The gameplay itself is ultra artificial and immersion breaking, and the story would have to be quite good to carry it for me. I will not spoil what I saw so far, but it's just a story.
Spoil what? Spoil what? You played Dungeon, bro. Okay, sure. What the Norn starting area has to spoil? I don't even know. And I played a Norn. Like ear-thick thighs? You should spoil that. That would make million more players come to play the game, I mean.
I could write it with no problems.
I didn't mean anything else.
It's basic as hell. It's not bad. It makes sense. So it's already
You can play Guild Wars 2 with one hand, right?
a few billion times better than what we get in modern WoW. It's just there. And if the gameplay was as amazing as everybody describes it, I would just say, well, it's there, the story is there to ground what you are doing into the world a little bit. The real deal is how fun the gameplay is. But that is not the case. And it's not even that the game does a bad...
It's not the case because you haven't reached a part where it is true. That is why it's not the case. The gameplay isn't fun until you get an elite spec. Like, it's not. It's very, very dull and boring. Once I played a Guardian, right? For the second time. For the second time, I actually fully immersed myself and locked into Guild Wars 2. I played a Guardian, and the base Guardian was okay. It wasn't that good. It was just like, okay, whatever. The moment I chose Luminary, my life has changed, brother. Like, I'm a new man. I'm a Luminary pilled at the moment. I tried Dragon Hunter, bro. That crap is for sissies. If you're going Luminary, you never turn back. That is so much fun. I'm having the best time of my life. One of the best classes I've ever played in MMORPG history. It's that good. But you didn't reach the point where you get to choose your elite spec. And that's why you're so mad about the basic stuff. And I get it. I get it, but you just need to wait. And by the way, level 28 isn't even enough to have like all of the abilities and all of the... virtues? That's how you call it. Specializations and stuff, right? You don't even have that. So, Luminary trash, ban that guy. But yeah, like you didn't even reach that point, which is insane. So, you judged way too early. It all comes down to he just didn't give this game enough time. 6 hours is nothing.
Job of explaining.
Luminary is easy mode? Bro, you guys are so mad that Luminary is literally one of the most difficult specs in the game. You have to manage not only 2 weapon sets because you can swap your weapon, but Luminary is the weapon set. It is the weapon swap, and you guys are so tilted that I've learned that I've like done a very great build, and it makes you seethe. I love that. I love seeing you cope. Everyone knows that Luminary is one of the most difficult like elites in the game.
Who these people are, although it does, I have no idea who these races and people
Y'all are bugging.
And what are their
Crazy.
stories and why should I care. But even if I knew those things, the story itself, what happens around me, is just super bland, super typical. It's there. Look, I've seen videos of Guild Wars 2 Endgame, and it generally looks good. I never got there myself, of course, but I understand what I'm looking at. I used to mythic raid and push high mythic plus keys in World of Warcraft all the way through Shadowlands.
My condolences.
So I can still recognize good and complicated and hard MMO content when I see it. I've also heard nothing but praise for Guild Wars 2 mount system, and from what I've seen, it deserves it. The horizontal progression
Okay, thank God. Oh, thank God. Dude, I was sure he was about to say it was trash or something. Okay, thank God. W.
It's appealing too. I heard that there is a lot of it in this game, but I don't know exactly how it works.
There we go.
So unlike retail, World of Warcraft, your progress doesn't seem to get wiped out every patch. The game looks good, the music is okay, but I don't buy...
The music is insanely good in Guild Wars 2 in my opinion. It was made by the guy who made a Skyrim soundtrack, right? At least the base version of the game.
The argument that I need to play another 20, 40 or 100 hours before the game becomes fun. If I'm going through a busy or rough period of my life, that could be weeks of gaming. I am not spending that much time hoping a game eventually gets good. It should be fun from the start, and plenty of games manage exactly that. It's not that hard. What confuses me
I already said what I
most
think
is
about
the
this.
overwhelming praise for the leveling experience. Usually, when I disagree with the majority, I start questioning
Dude, that looks fun. What the hell they're doing in the background? Is that a raid? Don't spoil it to me. Just like tell me.
myself, right? It's unlikely
Tell
that
me no
everybody
spoilers.
is wrong and I'm right. But people constantly praise the exploration and the leveling of this game, and I just don't get it. The problems I encountered felt obvious and impossible to ignore. To me, the game...
That's it. You heard that? You heard that? That's what happened to him. I'll listen.
Problems I
Listen carefully.
encountered felt obvious and impossible to ignore.
The problems I encountered felt impossible to ignore. You see? That's what got him. He basically got rage baited by the initial story sucking balls and all of the, the game being really, really easy and all of the points of interest and stuff. That's really confusing. I understand that. And it completely obfuscated all of the fun out of the game for him. It just pulled a veil in front of his eyes, and he couldn't see anything but this. Like a bull with a red carpet in front of his face. He went just like, he was like mad, okay? Or whatever sound bull makes. I don't know. He just like it kills you. So I get it. Like I get it. I get where he's coming from. He's been rage baited by Guild Wars 2, and that happened to many. That happened to me. I can't even judge him, but I knew better because I played MMOs my entire life, and I know that MMORPGs take time to develop and takes time to appreciate and have fun. So I'm very surprised that he, as a WoW player, didn't get it.
To me, the game felt like any other modern MMO.
Yeah, the game has very low population for a reason. Onboarding is terrible. I agree. Listen, that's why they're going back and fixing it. Right? They're doing it 14 years later, which it's something, but, I understand. Like, I completely understand.
Mediocre story.
I'm not blaming him.
Shallow, immersion breaking, boring, uninspired gameplay. Maybe I'm missing something, maybe I'm insane, but I genuinely don't understand the hype, and I don't have any will to play anymore. I just wanted to yap about it. If you have fun right now playing Guild Wars 2, that's great. This is just my experience, and yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget.
Oh, damn. Oh, I bet he got roasted. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Guys, go show him support, leave him a like. I actually really like this guy. I bet he's gonna watch this video of me reacting to him. If you're watching this, by the way, brother, please give Guild Wars 2 another try, but make it right, okay? Trust me, for your own sanity, this game becomes really, really good once you put the time into it. If you go from a streamer or content creator perspective into Guild Wars 2, you're not gonna have fun. This game is not streamer friendly. It's not, it is video friendly because you can, like, edit it however you like. It's not streamer friendly though. If you're looking to make cheap, fast content about the game, it's not going to fly. I'm not saying you're about to do it. I'm just saying if you came with the perspective of having a blast in 5 or 6 hours in an MMORPG, you're bound to set yourself for disappointment. It's not going to end well. And with that in mind, let's see some of the comments. Ooh, nice like to dislike ratio. The Guild Wars 2 community were giga mad. Zeers, you're famous, you see? You're not only in my chat, you're here too. People gave you 9 likes. Let's see what you wrote for him. Let's see if you were toxic. For some people, it clicks right away. For some people, it took them coming back to the game at different time periods of their life and suddenly it just clicked. That's exactly what happened to me, by the way. For others, it just never clicks at all. True. When I played it back during launch, I was blown away. After playing World of Warcraft, Lineage 2 on private servers, Rift, damn, how many MMOs did you play? Okay, the open world experience in Guild Wars 2 was the best feeling I had ever in an MMORPG. I was thrown into a world that was so wide and open that I could do anything, and everything gave me XP, and so I set off exploring every single zone. The dynamic events blew my mind, that combat felt smooth, and it was like I was being underwater, and now I was running free on land with no resistance. Damn. Zeers, you really love Guild Wars, huh? And every time I try to do something, I see something else that catches my eye, and get sidetracked. Yeah, that's Guild Wars. I'm actually surprised they didn't spoke about how questing works. I think that how questing works in Guild Wars 2 is the future of MMORPGs. I really wish every MMO would implement this system rather than the old go to an NPC, click on him, he give you a scroll of text to read, and you hand him 10 bare asses and that's it. I really hope this would end and Guild Wars 2 kind of way of implementing quests will continue. I think that's the future. The reason for all the waypoints because mounts weren't in the game. Yeah, we already know. Got hooked the third time playing this game. Yeah, so many people are saying the same thing. It's great. I think most people in the comments are like trying to understand him. Like, I understand many of your points. There's a reason why many people say level 1 to 80 is a tutorial. Exactly. Exactly. Like, it seems like people are understanding. They're understanding of him. I guess people just dislike because he didn't give it a proper go. So, Ivan, if you're watching this, my homie, you should definitely try out Guild Wars 2. You should definitely give it another go. But you should invest time. It is a time investment. But once it gets good, it gets good. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell him. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, what do you guys think about it? What do you guys think about it? Uninspired gameplay? Yeah, core not on max level. True. But that's all the experience. Like, you get that, right? I thought it was a fair opinion. I have some criticism on a few points, but if you're looking for WoW, it's not for you. Obviously, that's what he was looking for. He was looking for World of Warcraft. And that's never a good thing. I'm everywhere? Yeah, we saw that. You should watch the Angry Joe review of Guild Wars 2. We'll do it one day, surely. Like, we watched a lot of Guild Wars 2 shenaniganry. Guys, this is a video I'm very excited for. If you leave the stream, I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna be in your walls, okay? Like, this is a very good video. It's, you're not going to believe this, okay? Just trust me. It's a good video. Wait, why do I have one message on Twitch? Oh, nice. Clanker got banned. I fucking got him, dude. I fucking got him with the auto block. Bitch. Okay, that's good. Man, all of these AI weirdos. Holy shit. Okay, bye. Fuck you. You won't dare do this to me. I know you. I know you, Erathon. Don't do this. Don't click out. It's a good one. You know what? I'll show you why it's a good one. I'll show you why. Listen. Have you ever heard about the game Silk Road? Have you ever heard about it? Have you played it? I guess you have. You guys are old as fuck, like me, right? You guys played Silk Road, correct? Yes or no? Yay or nay? I want to see some answers in the comments. Tell me, have you even glanced at Silk Road? Anything? Okay, no one played? Shit, maybe, damn, maybe it was only me. Yeah, man, Silk Road, Metin 2, Cal Online, I played all the shitty Korean MMOs, name rings a bell, yep. Okay, that's fine. Actually, you do gotta lurk, I need to run by the bank and get food. Okay, that's fine. I'm older than you, yep, based. Okay, that's good. So all of you guys played Silk Road, right? Well, what if I told you some based Giga Chads that used to make content for this game 8 years ago suddenly made a comeback and made a banger of a video? I really want to watch that. Look at this. Almost 100k views in a matter of 5 days for a game that I used to play a ton as a kid. I never watched this video. I was so excited to feature it on stream. I couldn't wait for this day to do it. It's going to be a good one.
There's a certain kind of game that doesn't really leave you. You can stop playing, you can move on.
If you're above
you can
30,
forget about it for a while.
Get ready.
But then something small happens. You hear a sound, or get a message, or have some sort of memory, and just like that, you're thinking about it again. Today, we're doing a deep dive on a game you probably didn't even know was still around, and a game that may or may not have ruined my life. A 2005 MMO by Joymax that for some reason still has one of the most stubborn communities I've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Silk Road Online.
God bless. Oh my god. No. Already this is too good. Oh, my ears. Oh, perfect. Oh! Yes!
And if you played this game back in the day, this sound right here probably does something to your brain. The login music starts, the intro screen comes up.
I'm a kid
and
again.
You're right back there.
Who said we can go back?
For Guild Wars Online, making another character on another server because obviously this time the build was going to be absolutely perfect. And then you remember the real boss of Silk Road Online, not Tiger Girl, not Lord Yorkin,
the
and no, not even that random Turk in Dawnwing who kept asking you for 2 mil. The real boss was the server full screen, and if you were there, you already know exactly what I mean. You'd sit there spamming enter, watching the client fail over and over again, hoping that this attempt was finally the one that got you in. Sometimes you got lucky and slipped in pretty quickly. Sometimes it took 20 minutes, and sometimes it took literal hours just to log into the game, which sounds insane now. Imagine trying to explain that to someone today. Yeah, before I could actually play the game, I'd like to sit there and fight the...
You can't explain old MMOs to the Zoomers. They don't understand. They never will. That feeling you had trying to like enter an MMO and being unsuccessful, even that was fun. Like, you remember the adrenaline rush once you saw that loading screen and it actually worked? Holy, and even swapping channels and like MapleStory and stuff felt exciting. Because whenever you had a full channel, you can actually group up for a party quest and all of that. But, you know, that's for a different discussion. It was so good. Nobody would understand how it was like growing up in the early 2000s playing MMORPGs. Like, no one will. Man, I miss the mid-2000s MMOs cities with sellers standing around for weeks without logging out. Yep.
login screen for an hour. But back then, that was just part of it. Later on, a lot of
don't
people
go
used
into the
auto
light,
login tools,
General. I
so the
have
client
to.
would just retry for you. But before that, a lot of us were doing it manually, sitting there like absolute idiots, acting like the next enter press was definitely going to be different. And the weird part is,
Man, I love this
hated it at
video
the
so
time,
much.
But I also remember it so clearly. That's what's so strange about Silk Road. So much of the game was annoying. The login queues were annoying. The grind was ridiculous. Losing in PvP.
Every single thing was trash, and we loved it. Oh man, I mean, you had an MMO as a kid that you enjoyed. Now growing up, you realize that MMO was a scam, right? I think we all had that MMO. For me, it's Silk Road, MU, every Korean MMO that I enjoyed playing as a kid, L-Sword, all of these MMOs, they were scams. But I loved them nonetheless. It was unconditional love. Like, you have a really ugly ass dog. You know he's ugly. You know every time you go on a walk with him, someone's about to puke. That's fine. You don't care. You love him regardless.
Their life savings in the game was so annoying. Failing a plus after farming gold for days was enough to ruin your night. But somehow, all of that became part of why people remembered it. And I've been trying to figure out why. Because on paper, Silk Road isn't the kind of game that should still have people coming back in 2026. It's old, it's clunky, the systems are outdated, the grind is brutal, the private server scene can be messy. And if you tried to explain half of the game to someone who grew up on modern MMOs, they would probably think you were describing a punishment. But then you actually logged in, and suddenly it makes sense again. Ho-Tan is packed. Jang-Yang is full of stalls. Global chat is a disaster. People are selling, arguing, recruiting, flexing, begging, scamming, calling each other out, and somehow all of that chaos makes the game feel alive. That's the part I keep coming back to. I don't think most Silk Road players actually quit. They just disappear for a while. I know because I've done it so many times. You stop playing, you stop checking the Discord, you tell yourself you're completely done with private servers, and you mean it, at least for a bit.
Sure you
and
have.
One day someone sends
Just
you a
like
link,
World of
or you
Warcraft.
see a clip, or you hear the login music again, and suddenly you're on some server website, checking the cap, reading the rates, looking at the grand opening date, and pretending.
Facts with World of Warcraft. Facts. You risk getting a Trojan horse, but it's always worth it. Always. Yeah, you remember the 5k kill quest and stuff? The game was designed for botting? Yep.
You're just curious.
It
That's
was.
always the lie. I'm just gonna check it out. I've said that so many times. I'm not grinding this one. I'm not staying up late. I'm not getting involved in guild drama. I'm not farming skill points for hours.
You know, I
And
don't
I'm
remember the
definitely
game
not
looking
taking the
this
server
good,
seriously.
actually.
And
I
then 2
remember
weeks
it
later,
looking
you're in
worse
Discord
for some
debating
reason.
builds, planning trade runs, checking who already has sun weapons, and watching global chat explode because someone hit a huge plus. Or 2 rival guilds are absolutely losing their minds before a fortress war. And somehow you care again. That's what makes Silk Road so hard to explain to people who weren't there. Because it isn't just nostalgia. Nostalgia gets you to log in once. It gets you to hear the music, walk around Jang-Yang, maybe kill a few Mang-Yangs, smile for 5 minutes, and then log out. But Silk Road does something different. People come back and actually play. They join guilds again. They grind again. They argue about builds again. They spend money again. They chase the same feeling again.
Nice, he
And
makes
that's what
those
I
chest
wanted to
sliders.
understand.
That's
Why
good.
does this old MMO still pull people back almost 20 years later? Why do players keep repeating the same cycle
Dude.
across 40 cap, 60 cap, 80 cap, 100 cap, and every private server in between? Why do people spend so much time and sometimes so much money trying to dominate a server that might only last a few months? And why does Silk Road still feel alive, even after everything that probably should have killed it? I don't know if there's one clean answer, but I think that's what makes it interesting. Because Silk Road Online isn't just a game people used to play. It's a game people keep finding their way back to. And with this game, I don't think people truly quit.
Bro, did you see how ugly the character used to look like? and the pool was so limited too. You can be either like a disgusting demon, or you have that one thing that looked cool that everyone picked, the kind of like the guy with the how do you call it, like the eyewear and the white hair. Like, this is it. This is why I had like what I had back in the day. I remember that.
They just take really long breaks.
What the hell is a Silk Road Online? It's history. My ears. My God. Holy, that was loud. Look how good it is. Dude, I always loved how Eastern gamer developers always did this like spinny thing, like you're flying through the zone. I always loved that. I used to play House of the Dead a lot. This is a game you never even heard of unless you're actually balding right now. I always loved that. I never understood why Western MMO developers never took that. I really wish they had. It's so cool. I played Estonia 3. It was based. Damn.
One of the first things that made Silk Road stand out was honestly pretty simple. It was free. And I know that sounds normal now,
Yep.
but back then, that mattered a lot. A
Yes.
lot of MMOs had monthly subscriptions, so you were paying just to log in. With Silk Road, you could download it, make a character, and start playing without committing to anything.
People were poor and had trash PCs. I know. I was one of them. I couldn't even afford World of Warcraft until I became 18 and had my own credit card. So it is what it is. This is what we have. This is my history. That's why I played almost every single Korean MMO that came out before the year 2018. Because that's all I had. I didn't have anything else.
Well, after you got past
They were the
server
only
enforcement,
one
of
free to
course,
play.
But technically it was free. And I think that alone pulled a lot of people in, especially younger players who weren't exactly trying to explain a monthly MMO subscription to their parents.
Yep.
But obviously, Silk Road wasn't free out of pure generosity. Instead of a subscription, the game had the item mall. You bought Silk with real money, and if you wanted to progress at a decent pace, you felt that system pretty quickly. Premium Plus was probably the most iconic purchase. It lasted about a month and gave you more experience, better stats, and most importantly, better alchemy success. And if you played
Easy.
Silk Road, you knew exactly why that mattered. A failed plus could literally ruin your whole night, so anything that helped with alchemy felt almost required if you were trying to keep up. Even cosmetics weren't just really cosmetic. Avatar sets gave small stat bonuses or helped with alchemy, so people wore them for both looks and efficiency. Then you had everything else layered on top. Grab pets to pick up loot, attack pets for extra damage, scrolls, and inventory expansions. It became this whole system where spending money either saved you time or gave you an edge. That model feels so normal now, but at the time it felt super different. And even with all of that, the game still pulled you in because the world had a feeling to it. Silk Road hit a really good balance visually. It could run on almost any PC, but still looked good enough to feel immersive. Now obviously it looks dated, but there's something about the way it looks that still feels familiar. A big part of that comes from the world itself. Silk Road was based on the real Silk Road, with places like Jiangyang, Dongwang, Hotan, and Constantinople.
damn.
But it mixed that in with mythology and regional stories, so it didn't feel like a generic fantasy MMO.
Wait, actually
it felt
good?
more like a stylized version of a real journey. And even if you weren't thinking about that at the time, you felt
Yeah,
it.
it aged incredibly well. Exactly. I mean, look at this. Dude, that's crazy. That is very, very good looking city. I mean, obviously they just yanked it from real life, but I have no problem with that. It looks incredible.
More like a stylized version of a real journey.
I
And
agree.
even if you weren't thinking about that at the time, you felt it. The cities felt grounded. The roads between them felt like places people were actually meant to travel. And because of the stall system, towns were always packed. If you wanted to sell something, your character had to stand there. So the cities stayed full even when people
there
weren't
it is.
actively playing. That made the world feel busy in a way that a menu-based auction house never really does. And outside of the cities, it still felt active. You'd see traders moving goods, hunters protecting them, and thieves waiting for the right moment. Even early on, you could tell Silk Road wasn't built around isolated PvE. It was built around players constantly running into each other. The sound design tied all of that together. It's the kind of game where you can come back years later, hear a few seconds of the music, and instantly know where you are. So yeah, the graphics are outdated now, but the atmosphere still works.
Yeah,
The free-to-play
trade or
model got
die
people in,
trying.
but I don't think that's what made them stay. What made people
You know what's funny? I don't even, like, remember that. I don't think I even knew that existed. I haven't reached that part. I was just, like, a kid playing this game. It's like, that's it.
stay was the world itself. And that
I didn't
feeling
even
that
reach
every
the
time you logged
exciting
in,
stuff.
You were part of something active.
I just love roaming the world.
If there's one system that really defines Silk Road, it's the job system. Trader, hunter, and thief. And this is where the game becomes hard to
Always choose
explain,
thief.
because it wasn't just PvP for the sake of PvP. There was actual money on the line. If you were a trader, you had to buy goods in one city, load them onto your transport, and physically move them across the map to sell them somewhere else. And once you left town, that was it. You were exposed. There was no queue, no safe instance, no clean little battleground where everyone agreed to fight for 10 minutes and then go back to normal. You were out there in the world with your own gold sitting on that transport, hoping you actually made it to the other side. And if thieves caught you, you didn't just lose the fight. You lost the gold you put into the run, you lost the time it took to even get there. That's what made it feel different. Because when a trade worked, it felt amazing. You made it across the map, sold your goods, and got paid. But when it went wrong, it actually hurt. And I think that's something that a lot of modern PvP games don't really have anymore. Most of the time now, you queue up, you fight.
Wait, was Ashes of Creation was trying to do this? Yeah, they have. They, you know, I heard they're still working on it. It's a work in progress, but I haven't been updated, you know, for a couple of months. So anyone can tell me, like, how did it go? Steven Sharif is still working on the game, right? Surely.
You die, you respawn, and move on. In Silk Road, you remembered who'd robbed you, and you definitely remembered where it happened. Hunters were supposed to protect the traders, but that role wasn't just standing there looking useful in a job suit. You actually had to pay attention. You had to react quickly, focus the right targets, and stay organized. If the hunters were good, the trade run felt controlled. You still knew something could go wrong, but at least you felt like your group had a chance. If the hunters were bad, it felt like you were just politely escorting your own funeral. Because one wrong fight, one bad call, and one thief group
Man, it looks really fun.
Could wipe the whole
It actually looks kind of fun. I'm not a PvP
mindset. You weren't always trying to run in and overpower everyone right away. Sometimes you were trying to split the group.
Yeah, imagine you have like the poor people that tries to like conquer the rich guys with all of the buffs from the cash shop. That would be funny. That would be kind of funny.
Sometimes you were baiting the hunters away.
Really enjoying your latest videos, GeneralApple. Thank you, brother.
For one person
I
to get
appreciate
lazy.
that.
Then the goods dropped, and suddenly everything
I'm trying.
changed. That was the moment thieves were waiting for, and this is what made the system so good. The conflict happened naturally. You didn't just press a button and get matched against random players. You just left town, picked a route, and hoped the wrong people weren't watching. Over time, you started learning the map in a completely different way. Not just understanding where the mobs were, but where the danger spots were, where thieves like to sit.
You're gonna blow up soon?
Waited, which
I
roads
hope
were
you mean on
safer,
YouTube.
and which shortcuts weren't worth it. Sometimes taking the longer route made more sense just because you knew one guild was always camping the obvious path. And once the fight started, it wasn't just about spamming skills. You had to coordinate. You focused the right players so kills actually mattered. You timed buffs properly. You protected the transport. You tried not to get pulled away from the caravan like an idiot. Even though, let's be honest, most of us did at some point. Every role had these little decisions that made it interesting. As a hunter, sometimes you couldn't save everyone, so you had to protect the main part of the caravan. As a trader, sometimes spreading out was smarter than stacking, because at least then one bad fight didn't ruin everything. As a thief, sometimes you took what you could and left instead of getting greedy and losing it all. And then you had the alias system, which made everything even messier. When you put on a job suit, your name changed. Some people made it obvious who they were, other people hid it completely. And honestly, wearing a job suit almost felt like putting on a mask. It took some of the evil feeling out of robbing someone, because you weren't really showing up as your normal character anymore. You were stepping into a different role, under a different name, doing what the role was built to do. Or maybe I was just a psychopath. But either way, it made the whole thing feel more playful and less personal. So you could rob someone during a trade run, take their goods, and then later end up in a drop party with them like nothing ever happened. Until
I would have changed my name to someone else's. That way, not only I get to hide my identity, I put the blame on someone else and I'll never get caught. Easy money.
They figured it out, and when they did, trust me, everyone heard about it. That's the kind of stuff that made Silk Road feel social in a way that wasn't always clean or friendly, but it was memorable. The system also kind of balanced itself over time. So if there were too many thieves, traders stopped running, which meant there was nothing to steal. If trade runs became too safe, more players switched to thief because it looked like easy money. So the game didn't always need to force the conflict. The players created it themselves, and that's why the job system still stands out to me. It was simple on paper. There were only 3 roles: trader, hunter, and thief. But in Silk Road, losing didn't just mean you lost a fight. It meant you lost something you actually cared about. The only thing I've played that felt even remotely similar was Call of Duty Black Ops 1 wager matches. If you remember those, you weren't just playing for fun. You were gambling your in-game currency, and if you lost, it was gone. Silk Road felt like that, but bigger. Because
I don't even remember
you
that.
You weren't just risking gold. You were risking hours. And that's why it felt different.
Damn, okay. That was a pause.
Another thing that kept Silk Road interesting for so long was build identity. And this is one of those things that sounds boring until you actually play the game. Because in Silk Road, especially on the Chinese side, you weren't just picking a weapon and calling it a day. You were building around masteries like fire, cold, lightning, and force. And each one changed how your character actually played. Fire gave you physical damage and magical defensive buffs. Cold made you tankier and more physically defensive. Lightning gave you speed and stronger magical damage. And Force added utility with debuffs, healing, and resurrection. So your build wasn't just a preference. It kind of became who you were in the game. And over time, you started recognizing players just by how they looked. If you saw a spear, you expected burst damage. If you saw a blader, you already knew that fucking guy was going to be impossible to kill. If you saw a bow, you were probably waiting for the crit. And that mattered, especially in group fights, because knowing what someone could do helped you decide who needed to die first. The other thing is, changing builds wasn't something most people did casually. For some reason, it was always incredibly expensive to change builds. The game really locked you into what you picked at the start. It either took a ton of time and gold, or you had to pay with silk. So usually if someone wanted to create a new build, they would just end up creating an entirely new character. And I think that made your character feel more personal. You weren't constantly swapping into whatever was strongest that week. For a lot of players, your build became your identity. You were the blade.
That's really good. I actually do enjoy that. World of Warcraft kind of used to have that, like the commitment to your character and your identity. It's what solidified World of Warcraft character and class identity being so good at the day. I'm glad that Silk Road actually done that. Like, I don't remember any of it. I was just a kid playing. So most of my memories are just from, like, you know, killing regular monsters, doing some quests and running around the cities. But this is great. Like, I'm learning a lot of things I didn't even knew back in the day. Like, that's awesome, dude.
Leader.
That's great.
You were the spear nuker. You were the force guy everyone hated fighting. And that made fights more interesting, because you understood what everyone was bringing into them. But the real depth showed up in group fights. That's where Silk Road became more than just gear and damage numbers. You had to focus the right targets, usually the healers first, because otherwise kills didn't really stick. You had to time buffs properly instead of just using everything at once, and you had to play around your group instead of only reacting what was happening to you. And that's where coordinated groups could beat players with better gear. Not always, obviously, gear still mattered a lot, but if one side was organized and the other side was just running around trying to be the hero, you could feel the difference immediately. A lot of players still point to 80 cap as the era where everything came together, and I get why. STR builds became more viable, bowers became serious threats, force builds added another layer with debuffs and utility. It felt like the game had more
I don't know
options
what
without
any of
completely
this means.
losing its shape. Then European classes came in later,
Oh,
and
nice
that
class.
changed everything. A proper European party could be insanely strong, because every role had a purpose. You had warriors, rogues, wizards, clerics, bards, warlocks, and when the party actually worked together, it felt like a machine. That strength came with a trade-off. European builds depended way more on coordination. If the group was organized, they were terrifying. If the group wasn't organized, they could fall apart fast. And they were usually not as comfortable solo compared to Chinese builds. That's part of why I've always leaned more towards Chinese characters. I like being able to do my own thing. I like being able to grind solo, PvP solo, join a group when I want, but not feel completely useless without a perfect party around me. Chinese builds just felt more natural to me in that way, and honestly they were usually simpler to maintain too. Some European builds needed multiple weapons, multiple setups, and a lot more SP. Meanwhile, something like a Glaive or a bow build is pretty straightforward. You know what you are, you hit hard, you try not to die, simple enough. But if you look at modern private servers now, everything is way more optimized. Players already know what works, they know the best builds, they know the fastest routes, they know what gets in parties. So you end up seeing a lot of people make the safe choice. Wizard Cleric. It's probably the easiest example. It's strong, it levels fast, it gets in parties, and it gives you a clear path forward. So even if someone wants to play something more niche, they might avoid it because they know finding parties will be harder unless they're fully geared. And that's changed the feel of the game over time. The knowledge is deeper now, the builds are more refined, players are much better at understanding what actually works, but there's also less mystery. Back then, people were experimenting more. Some builds were terrible, some were genius, and half the time you didn't even know which was which until someone destroyed you outside of town. Now, private servers keep all these eras alive at once. You can play 40 cap, 60 cap, 80 cap, 100 cap, or whatever version of Silk Road you miss the most. But the game isn't as experimental as it used to be. It still feels familiar, it still feels like Silk Road, but now everyone shows up with years of knowledge already in their head. And that makes the game cleaner, more competitive, and probably more balanced in some ways. But I do think it lost a little bit of that old feeling and charm where nobody really knew what the perfect answer was yet.
Section
If the
5,
job
the
system was
grind.
the heart of Silk Road, the grind was the backbone. And honestly,
go.
the grind was brutal. Experience was slow, drops were rare, and early on most of us weren't following some perfect guide that told us exactly where to go, what to kill, and how to build our character. You mostly just figured it out as you went. A lot of the game was just killing mobs for hours, and I know that sounds terrible, because it kind of was, but the way you did it changed everything. If you were solo, it was simple. You found a spot, used your skills, picked up your drops, and kept going. But in a good party, the game felt completely different. You needed healing, you needed buffs, you needed damage. You needed someone pulling properly so the party wasn't just standing around wasting time. And if one of those pieces was missing, you felt it right away. That's why people became selective with parties. It wasn't always because they were trying to be rude. It was because if the party was bad, everyone leveled slower. But when you had a good group, it actually flowed. People knew their roles, the pulls were clean, Zerk got used at the right time, giants went down fast, and the experience kept moving. And then you had SP
And the
farming,
abilities
which is
actually
where
look
Silk Road started
really
to get a
good
little
for the
ridiculous.
time.
Because leveling up didn't automatically mean your character was good. You needed skill points. So a lot of players would slow their leveling down on purpose just to farm more SP. I'm going to give you guys all a flashback with one word. Ongs. The most iconic power leveling spot in all of video game history for me. Ongs became one of the most classic spots for farming SP. People would sit there for hours, sometimes days, farming skill points before they even really played the game normally. Some players even de-leveled on purpose just to stay there longer, which
It's so crazy. The same exact thing happened in like MapleStory. You farm experience in the same spot for ages, and I literally had my cousin, which was a huge MapleStory addict, just put a nail clipper on his keyboard, spamming the same ability over and over again, just to get infinite XP. By the way, they disabled it in one of the patches, but old MapleStory, you could have done that. Nowadays, if you're not moving for, I think, 5 seconds, the game automatically disables your character. Like, you need to move. You need to be constantly moving. But that's just a funny memory I have from back in the day. Yeah, games are so much more fun when builds and metas are undiscovered. Not always, but a lot of times it just is. 100%. You're 100% right about this. But unfortunately, the meta is about to be solved in every single aspect. It's just a matter of time, right? In every single game, too. Like, you can't do anything about this. Unfortunately, Blizzard aren't really keen on encrypting their code, so their meta is being solved before the game even ships. It's just being data mined, and that's it. Like, you're cooked. But I agree, 100%.
sounds insane when you say it out loud. But in Silk Road, that was completely normal. And there's one more part of the Silk Road grind that sounds insane unless you played it. Botting. In almost every other game, botting gets you banned. In Silk Road, it
Some things never change, boys. Some things never change.
somehow became the normal way to play. Joymax tried to stop it a few times, but the attempts were usually weak. They would place powerful enemies near town exits to block common bot routes. It would work for about a day, and then the botters would just adjust. Eventually, it felt like Joymax just accepted that bots were part of the game, and it wasn't unusual for one player to control 2, 10, or even 20 plus characters alongside their main. Those extra accounts
Classic.
farmed gold, elixirs, and equipment to fund the character that they actually cared about. You could find entire guilds filled with nothing but gold bots and alt accounts.
Man.
I remember PH
It looks
once
like
predicting that
retail.
my next level would
It's
take
crazy.
something like 27 days.
How did they got that footage?
27 days. But checking the bot was genuinely exciting. You would leave it overnight, come back, search the inventory for a good drop, and see how much progress you had made. Silk Road became the ultimate background grinding game, and strangely, it didn't make the game less social. While the bot handled the repetitive grind, you talked with your guild, watched global chat, helped other players, or played something else. In most games, botting means you're not playing. In Silk Road, it somehow became part of playing. You weren't grinding levels, you were preparing your character for the game you actually wanted to play later. And that's the funny thing. Hitting max level wasn't really the end goal. In a lot of ways, that was when the real game started. That was when you actually cared about gear, PvP, jobbing, guild fights, uniques, alchemy, and all the stuff people actually remember. The grind itself was repetitive, but it created something else. It created community. Our leveling became a huge part of the game. Higher level players would taxi lower level players, sometimes for gold, sometimes just because they were friends, and sometimes just because they felt like helping. I still remember getting free taxi when I was younger and thinking it was the coolest thing ever. I even remember saying to myself that once I hit max level, I'm going to come back here to Ongs and do my own free power level. And finally, when I got there, I did. And I know that's such a small thing, but that stuff sticks with you. Even PvE had this competitive side to it. People were always farming for rare jobs, especially seal gear, and when someone linked a good item in global chat, the whole server noticed. Uniques were the same way. They weren't just PvE bosses, they were races. Everyone was trying to get there first, deal the most damage, and get the kill announcement. So even when you were just fighting a monster, it still felt connected to the rest of the server. But honestly, the thing people remember most isn't the mechanics, it's the people. The friends you played with every day, the people you ran caravans with, the ones you argued about builds with, the ones you stayed up way too late grinding with even though you knew you had work or school the next morning. Hot Staffer, Kamikaze, Shinigami, Theo
Nice
55,
names.
Soccer Sam, Gore Beast, Kyler Wandy, and of course, my own character, Grumped. Those weren't just random names on a screen. Those were the people I played the game with.
It's crazy. It's crazy how he hit the nail right on the head there. This game was so communal, as it seems to me, at least from his video, because, you know, I was a kid, I didn't really know anything. And, like, it just reminds me of World of Warcraft. It just reminds me of World of Warcraft. The beauty of WoW was always the world and its people. Nowadays, it's completely gone in retail, and not only that, retail mentality has seeped into Classic, so even if you play Classic, it's not the same. It's just not, because we live in an era of information, and if you're not following a specific guide and you don't have like 6 best in slot items, they won't even accept you for a raid if you don't have your pre-bis. It's such a damn shame. I wish I could experience World of Warcraft as it was back in the day. I don't care about the add-ons, I don't care about Questy. I really just wish I was there at the time, man. It sucks. Like, how did I miss that? Imagine being poor. Yeah, looks like, wait, what? Season 3 and Season 4 maps of Guild Wars 2, really? Yeah, the discovery period of MMOs is dead. Top guilds are almost like a business with RMT and farms, so they do it for the cash. I know. It sucks. I said, MMORPGs should have never been turned into an esport. I hate, like, looking at method and all that stuff. It's fun maybe from time to time, but honestly, it's just sad. It's like MMOs aren't like that. They never were. Like, Blizzard are trying to force it and cultivate an audience that is the 1%ers because they're idiots. And I guess these guys are just, you know, paying the most because they're essentially whales. And the rest are just bots. Players like us are being alienated from the game and we're being ostracized. They essentially turned us into pariahs in our own MMO. It's not fun anymore. That's why I don't play retail. That's why I don't even play Classic. I'm just here sitting and praying that Classic Plus would come out and it would be half as good as Turtle WoW was. Because Turtle WoW was the only game that recently made me feel this way.
That's the part that stays with you.
Yeah, I don't trust streamers with their opinions on Classic. They just want to no friction for some reason. They want friction just on their channel. They want all the money and they want to pad their wallets. They're not even playing with their viewers, really. It's sad. It's pathetic. But it is what it is. And that's why I'm here to kind of like change that, right? Because I'm playing with my viewers every single day. And that's the fun thing in the world. Now I do it nowadays in Guild Wars 2 because World of Warcraft doesn't have a version that I actually enjoy. But that's how you should do it, in my opinion. You shouldn't, like, you know, just ask gold from your viewers and that's it. Like, that's their only use case, to milk them. But again, that's why I'm constantly calling out streamers. They're garbage. Never give them anything. Just enjoy the show. That's it. Yeah, everything has become so antisocial, even with the post-modern social system.
Fortress War was where everything came together. This was where the game stopped feeling like random fights in the world and started feeling like actual server politics. Guilds didn't show up casually. They recruited for it. They built proper unions and planned around it. And sometimes, guilds that actually hated each other would still team up for one fight just to take down whoever was dominating the server. And the reason Fortress mattered so much was simple. Taxes. If your guild owned the fortress, you made money from the activity connected to that town. So every trader using that area was basically helping fund your guild. That gold could go right back into gear, alchemy, and making your strongest players even stronger. So once a guild got ahead, it could really start to
getting
snowball.
richer, baby.
But Fortress wasn't about having the most people. You needed an actual setup. Enough healing, enough damage, enough support, enough players who understood what they were supposed to do. Because if your composition was bad, you felt it immediately. And when Fortress started, it looked like complete chaos at first. Players everywhere, skills going off, people dying, guilds pushing in from different sides.
I'm surprised the game actually managed to kind of hold. Oh, never mind.
Some groups were pushing together, some
He
were
seemed to be
holding space,
desyncing.
some were trying to pick off key players, some were just running in and dying instantly, which, to be fair, was also a role a lot of us played at some point. My old guildmaster used to say, "A nuke in you was better than a nuke in me." And honestly, he was kind of right. I still tell lower level guild members in mind that
that's
all the
actually
time.
a good
nuke
one.
in them is better than a nuke in me. Owning a fortress changed how the server felt. If one guild was in control, people started playing around them. Traders felt safer running with the dominant group, so bigger caravans formed around them. But that also made them a target. Other guilds would switch roles just to disrupt them, rob their trades, or slow down their progress. And that's where the politics came in. If you pushed too hard, everyone started coming after you. If you played too safe, you fell behind. So every strong guild had to balance growth, reputation, alliances, and enemies at the same time. And that's one of the things I always found interesting about Silk Road. Servers didn't feel anonymous. You knew who the strong players were. You knew which guilds mattered. You knew who talked in global chat, who actually backed it up, and who disappeared the second things got serious. When people talk about Silk Road, they usually don't just say I played Silk Road. They say what server they were on. Because the server was part of your identity. The guilds, the rivalries, the big spenders, the Fortress War owners, the people everyone hated, the people everyone respected. That was the game. And global chat made sure nobody forgot anything. If you talked big and failed, people remembered. If you won, people remembered that too. So Fortress wasn't just about gold. It was about owning a structure on the map. It was about reputation.
And World of Warcraft, again, I'm gonna bring it as an example, like I always do. WoW used to be like that. WoW used to be like that. You knew who the best PvP Andy was. You knew who was the best, like, guild leader. You knew who was the best raid leader. You knew every single thing. And you even had a blacklist. Like, if you ninja looted something, people would have known on your server. Nowadays, you can ninja loot anything live on stream, and people won't care. It's just because the game became so big, right? And everyone's playing on the same server. It's just so frustrating, man. It's just so disheartening.
About proving your guild was the one people had to take seriously.
Yeah, I miss the pre-mount days of Guild Wars 2. Everything was so much harder, but it felt fun too. Exactly.
If Fortress was about reputation, Alchemy was where the risk became personal. Because at some point, every Silk Road player has stared at an item and had the same stupid thought. 1 more plus. That's where the system gets dangerous. Every item starts at +0, and you upgrade it step by step. Early on, it doesn't feel that bad. You hit +3, +4, maybe +5, and you start feeling confident. And then the game reminds you.
No, I never understood the obsession of Eastern MMO game developers of making something breaks whenever you're trying to enchant it. Like, how is that a good system? I never got it. It's so cringe to me. Just make it fun. Like, why you make such a weird, contrived, obscure system? For the sake of grinding more, just make the game fun and people would continue sub to you or whatever. Especially if the game is, like, free to play. But if you sell, like, safety nets, dog, that's so deplorable, I can actually admire that.
You that confidence was a mistake. Because once you get into higher pluses, especially around +8 and above, every click starts to feel serious. If you fail, you didn't just
you're sweating bullets right now.
You literally go all the way back to 0. So now you're sitting there asking yourself if one small upgrade is really worth risking something you spent days or weeks building. And the worst part is, you already know the smart answer. Don't click it. But you click it anyway. There are ways to protect yourself, but a lot of that protection comes from the item mall, and that means
of course.
Silk, and Silk means real money. So yeah, this is where the pay to win part becomes impossible to ignore. Some players just buy upgraded gear instead of risking it themselves, and honestly, I get it. It's safer, it's cleaner, it probably saves your sanity, but there's something different about making your own weapon. When you hit a high plus yourself and your name shows up, it isn't just about the stats anymore. It feels like you survived something. You took the risk, the game
made
didn't
some
destroy
good
you
stuff.
once, and now everyone on the server gets to see it. Then you've got blue and white stats layered on top of that. So even if 2 players have the same weapon, they aren't really the same. One has better strength, intelligence, crit, block, parry, or whatever else, and suddenly that small difference matters in fights. And that's how the gap keeps growing. And then there's this weird psychology side of Alchemy, which might be my favorite part. Because players start developing rituals. They go to a certain town, they stand in a certain spot, they relog, they wait a few seconds, then they ask someone else to click it for them. They say things like, this NPC is lucky, even though deep down we all know that this is probably complete nonsense. But when one click can ruin weeks of progress, of course people want to feel like they have some control. That's what Alchemy did. It turned upgrading gear into this mix of gambling, superstition, pain, and pure dopamine. And spending fed directly into that. Most players spent something, even if it wasn't a crazy amount. It was easier to justify because the game itself was free. You weren't paying a subscription, so buying a little silk here and there didn't feel that bad. At least that's what everyone told themselves. But at the higher end, it got extreme. Some players spent heavily right at the start of the server just to get ahead. And once they were ahead, it became hard to give that up, because at that point it wasn't just about gear anymore. It was identity. Better gear meant dominance. Dominance meant reputation, and reputation kept you at the center of the server. I've even heard rumors of some players spending over $30,000 in a single server. So even though the system was clearly pay to win, it also made the game more intense. I'm not saying that made it fair, it definitely didn't, but it made more people care, because when time, gold, reputation, and real money are all tied to the same item, every upgrade feels bigger than it probably should. And that's why Alchemy was so addictive. It was terrible, it was unfair, it made no sense, and somehow everyone still wanted to click one more time.
It was Gamba. That was it.
Fucking let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
He's clicking it.
Oh my god.
You guys are gaslighters.
Classic.
At this point,
Private
we have to
servers.
talk about private servers, because that's where most of modern Silk Road lives now. And if you've played private servers for long enough, you know exactly the type of player that shows up every time. The server hopper. The guy who joins every new launch, goes hard for 2 or 3 weeks, talks like this is finally the server, and then disappears the second things slow down. And honestly,
Yes.
I kind of get it, because for a lot of people, Silk Road isn't really a long-term game anymore. It's a cycle. You join at launch, you race the cap, you farm, you do fortress, you push some alchemy, you get involved in whatever guild drama is happening, and then after a month or 2, the server starts to slow down. People quit, the economy changes, 1 or 2 groups starts pulling ahead, and suddenly everyone is looking at the next launch. So nobody really quits, they just rotate. Official servers still exist, but most of the community moved toward private servers because they offer more control. And for me, I actually got pushed into private servers in the worst way possible. You're probably still wondering why at the beginning of this video I said Silk Road may have ruined my life. When I was around 12, I was playing Silk Road R on the JoyMax server Merv, with my cousins and my brothers. At that point, I had already been on the server for a couple of years, and
God
somehow over
damn.
the time I had built a ridiculous Goldbot army. I'm talking over 100 characters. I think I had something like 12 Goldbot parties over level 101, running basically all day through PHBot. And the crazy part
Man,
is,
this guy's a
I had
G.
never spent a single dollar of money on Silk. My main character, Grumped, was completely decked out. For a kid who hadn't spent anything, he was a beast. I had multiple guilds that were basically just there for extra storage because I had so much loot coming in that I needed places to organize it all. And then one day, I got a message from some guy trying to sell his set. He sent me a link, and because I was a clueless 12-year-old, I clicked it. Somehow he got me to run a .exe file, and I didn't think much of it at the time. So the next morning, I woke up and everything was gone. He had keylogged my entire computer.
Oh my god. Oh shit, dude. That must have been devastating. You know what? At least he learned an important lesson that day. Never click suspicious links. Yep, he learned. But man, that gotta sting.
My main character was stripped. Most of my accounts had their passwords changed. The ones I still had access to were cleaned too. And it wasn't just Silk Road either. He even tried to withdraw the only $50 I had made from YouTube at the time out of my PayPal account. I remember logging into Grumped and just seeing him standing there with nothing. No gear, no items, nothing. And the worst part was seeing the hacker in Hope 10 selling my own items for way less than they were worth. That one hurt. I know it sounds quite dramatic, but that genuinely broke me as a kid. I reached out to JoyMax hoping they could help, and they were completely useless. I remember getting some ridiculous response that basically did nothing.
What? Is that real? Oh, sorry, bro. GG, get wrecked, child. Nah, okay.
And I was so mad that I just started cussing them out because I couldn't understand how they were no help at all. After that, I gave a bunch of the characters I still had access to over to my best friend in Silk Road at the time, Forrest, who was an absolute legend. Then I wiped my computer, stopped playing, and didn't touch Silk Road for a very long time. The whole thing is actually documented in my old uploads, but I still don't like watching that video back. I actually haven't watched it back since I made it. Every time I try to, it makes me sick to my stomach. Some sort of PTSD or trauma, I guess, that I should maybe explore.
So that's why he was gone for like 8 years? Because he was hacked and his love for Silk Road kind of died after that? I can actually feel that. Dude, what a great comeback story. My
But
god.
looking back, it was kind of a blessing in disguise. That hack basically ended my official JoyMax run. And as bad as it felt, it pushed me into the private server world. Because after spending years building characters on official servers, suddenly I found servers where you could reach max level in days or weeks instead of grinding for literal years. And honestly, if I never got hacked, I might still be running those same characters on Merv to this day. That is the weird thing about Silk Road. I've heard so many stories like this. People getting hacked, scammed, cleaned out, losing years of progress, swearing they were done forever, and somehow a lot of them still come back. Maybe not to the same server, maybe not right away, but eventually the game found a way to pull them back in. And that's where private servers started to make sense. You can choose the cap, the rates, the balance, and most importantly, you get a fresh start. And that fresh start is a huge part of the appeal. Everyone begins from zero again. No inflated economy, no established player sitting on years of gear, no one controlling everything before the server even starts. Just a clean race to get ahead. And for a lot of players, that first week is still one of the most exciting parts of Silk Road. The towns are packed, everyone is leveling, everyone's broke, everyone is trying to figure out who's going to be strong. And for a little while, the game feels alive again. But
And for that exact same reason, I think that's why so many people are excited for Classic Plus. I think a lot of people like me are looking at Classic Plus as a sort of a clean slate, reset the whole universe kind of thing. We're excited to the maximum for it because I wasn't there for the initial WoW release. I wasn't there. I came in Warlords of Draenor because, you know, I got my credit card whenever Warlords of Draenor was the new expansion. And I never got to see it full, like, on hand, right? Because, you know, the classic re-release was really, really good, but it wasn't the real thing. That's why I'm excited for Classic Plus. I really want to see those servers being fully queued up again. I want to see everyone at the starting zone running like headless chickens, trying to get some quests, kill the same NPCs, talk to the same people, have a lot of laughs and jokes. I really miss that. I had that in Turtle WoW. I was there for Turtle WoW release when they released Embershire server, and that was glorious. I really am looking forward to seeing that again. That is the best feeling in the entire world.
the private server scene is mixed. Some servers are generally trying to last, some are built around seasons, and some are obvious cash grabs where you can feel the reset coming before the server even opens. So finding a good one really comes down to build balance, acing, and GMs you can actually trust. And that trust matters because the private servers
Happy
seem to
Friday,
always
bro.
have a
Thank
shady
you.
side. Some GMs make backdoor deals
I love
with big
streaming
guilds
Fridays,
just to get them
even
to join
nobody's
and
here.
watch. Sometimes that means selling
Everyone's
items
touching
or
grass.
private advantages behind the scenes because a few famous guilds can
You
make a
guys
server
need to
look
be
way
more
active than
unemployed.
it actually is. And sometimes even the player count itself is questionable. You hear stories about servers inflating numbers with bot characters hidden in areas regular players can't access, just so the website makes the server look healthier than
A
it
private
actually
server
is.
would never
That is
do
the
that.
problem with private servers. When the management is good, the game can feel amazing. But when players start to think the server is rigged, fake, or just built to collect early donations and close after a few weeks, trust disappears fast. Then you have the gold farming side, which is a whole different layer. On some servers, players aren't just playing casually. They're treating the game like income. Typically, we call these players gold bots. They'll progress to a certain point where they can compete, and then every additional gold they make, they'll sell for real money. Because in countries where Silk Road is super popular like Egypt and Turkey, getting a few US dollars here and there can make a big difference in their lives. You'll see constant caravans, bot parties running nonstop, and sometimes multiple people rotating on the same account just to keep it active. And once in-game progress can turn into real money,
Wait, what?
people rotating on
Selling 5k silk for 4k dollars. Jeez, that's crazy. My god.
the same account just to keep it active. And once in-game progress can turn into real money, the game changes.
Maybe
A
Silk
trade run
Road
isn't
is
just a trade run
profitable.
anymore. A lost caravan isn't just annoying. For some players, that's actual income gone. And that's the part of why these fights can get so intense.
Holy fuck, let's fucking go!
Because not everyone is playing for the same reason. Some people are playing for nostalgia, some are playing for PvP, some are playing for status, some are playing to make money, and all of these players end up in the same world, fighting over the same systems. And that's what makes private server Silk Road so weird. It's nostalgic, but it's also way more optimized. It's familiar, but it's also more competitive. Everyone wants that old feeling again, but everyone shows up with years of knowledge, better tools, and way less patience. And with all of that in mind, I think the best advice is actually pretty simple. If you find a good server, it's usually better to stay. Because a lot of players keep jumping from server to server looking for the perfect one, but most servers are built around the same basic cycle. What people are really chasing is that feeling of a fresh start. And I get it, that early launch phase is addictive, but if you stay somewhere, you actually build something. You build your gear, you build your reputation, you learn the players around you, and most importantly, you build relationships. Because Silk Road is always better when you're playing with people. If your group is active, you can make almost any decent server feel alive. You're running caravans together, fighting together, helping each other, arguing over builds, backing each other up, and creating your own version of the game. So I don't think the secret is finding the perfect server. That probably doesn't exist. The real thing is finding the right people to play with. Because in Silk Road, the server matters, but the people are what make you stay. After breaking everything down, I think this is the real question. Why does Silk Road still matter? Because on paper it probably shouldn't. There are so many MMOs now with better graphics, smoother combat, cleaner systems, better tutorials.
Yes. Oh, damn. Tier maker. Let's see. Okay, let's pause and have a glimpse. So, on S tier, we have Guild Wars 2, WoW Classic, Elder Scrolls Online. Hell no, brother. Put that shit way down. And if that's retail, this guy's cooked. A tier, we have Lord of the Rings Online. I still need to play it. Black Desert Online, hell no. Albion, I need to play it. FF14, yeah, sure, I guess. I heard Dawntrail was kind of bad. But, sure, dude, DC Universe in B, bro, put it in S tier. Put it in S tier. It's one of the only few MMORPGs I've actually reached max level in. It was such a trash game, but I enjoyed it so much.
And way more polish. But for some reason,
I love DC
none
more
of them
than
really
anything.
feel like Silk Road. And I think a lot of players have gone through that. You try other games.
God
You
tier.
look for something that scratches the same itch. And eventually you realize the annoying answer. There kind of isn't one. A big part of that is the job system. Trader, hunter, and thief. That one system gave the game something
Well, there's that Ashes of Creation thing. That's very similar.
most MMOs don't really have anymore. Risk. In
You can
most
pay
modern
for the
games, you
early
queue up,
alpha
you fight,
if you want.
You die, you respawn, and then
I
you
heard
move
it was
on.
really good.
Nothing really follows you. But in Silk Road, if you lost a caravan, you didn't just lose a fight. You lost the gold you invested and the time it took to earn it. If you failed alchemy, you could lose weeks of progress in one click. If your guild lost fortress, you lost income, control, and status. And if you embarrassed yourself in global chat, good luck, because people were absolutely going to remember. That's what made the game feel different. Your name actually meant something. Your guild meant something. Your reputation followed you around the server. And I think that is what made everything feel more real. Wins felt better because they mattered.
Nice. Hello. Look at hello. Nice. Beautiful. Good job.
Very fucking
Oh, his name is Hello. Yo, dude, that's so confusing. His name is Hello and it's like, hello. Wait, that's actually clever. What the? That's insane. Bro, that guy was meta thinking. He's playing 4D chess. That's actually insane. Wait, I need to play DC Universe Online. I just saw Supergirl today. My condolences.
Losses hit harder because
But
they
don't play
matter
DC
too.
Universe,
Even though
please
Silk Road
don't.
is simple and repetitive in a lot of ways,
Do yourself a
everything
favor.
connects. The grind feeds the gear feeds the PvP. The PvP feeds the
It was
job
only
system.
as good
The
as I
job
remembered
system
it
feeds
to
the
be.
The economy feeds the guilds feed the politics. And somehow, all of that turns this old, clunky MMO into something that feels alive when the server is active. That's the part that's hard to replace. But it isn't just the combat, it isn't just the music, it isn't just the nostalgia. It's the feeling that everything you're doing is connected to everyone else. And once you've experienced that, it's hard to find it somewhere else. You might not be playing right now. Maybe life got busy, maybe you moved on. Maybe you've told yourself very confidently that you're completely done with this game. And honestly, maybe you are, for now. But then it happens again. An old friend messages you, a new server launches, you see one clip, and suddenly you feel it. That stupid little itch. So you tell yourself in the same lie everyone tells themselves, I'm just gonna check it out. Just for a few days. Nothing serious. And then somehow you're right back in it.
God bless. God bless, dude. What a fantastic video. My
Because with
God.
Silk Road, I don't think most people truly quit. They just take really long breaks.
That's it. Wow, dude. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I can't believe this video was recommended to me by YouTube. I haven't even searched for Silk Road in ages. I don't even know how they knew me. I think they're actually listening to like my streams or something. Dude, that was such a phenomenal video. Phenomenal video. Absolutely perfect. Wow, I'm gonna leave you guys a link, so you should, you know, click on it. Obviously, give them a like. That was incredible. Like, this person, wow, came after 8 years and made such a banger of a video for a game barely anyone remembers, simply for the pure, like, sanity of it. I don't even know how to call it. Just pure joy. It's amazing. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. My God. Yeah, I'll leave you guys a link. Wait, there we go. Oh, it links from the thing. Wait, I'll do this. Copy. There we go. Now it should work.
GMs you can actually.
I'll link it in both YouTube chat and on Twitch, so you can guys enjoy it. Enjoy. There it is. There it is. Let's see what you say. I need to wait, what? Oh, I was high-end rating on DC Injustice 2 mobile for here before I got burned up. I love DC. I love DC more than anything in the world. But DC Universe Online isn't it. Peak nostalgia slop hard? Exactly. This game looked worse than WoW. WoW looks good. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course this looked worse. Everything looks worse than WoW. WoW looks insanely good. WoW is like the pinnacle of video games. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, nice picture of me, Zeke. Thank you. What is that? Oh, Shield, you sent me one of your own videos. Well, I can't watch it today because I need to end the stream. But I'll keep it in mind. I'll check it out. If it's stream safe, I will watch it. Don't worry. But yeah, guys, it's time to call it for the stream. Unfortunately, Fridays are short streams. We had 4 videos we reacted to. Some of them were yours, some of them were like YouTube, just recommended to me. But that was fun. That was fun. I enjoy Friday streams. I enjoy it. It's good. Nobody's watching because everyone is outside and actually having fun, but like, that was good. I feel like this was fine. So thank you guys. Like, it's been a blast. It's been a blast. I'm watching Lurking, based. Von Clark the Shark. Absolutely based. So, yeah, let's see. I mean, it was good. It was good, dude. That Silk Road video done me in. I'm fucking old. I'm actually old. That's insane. I have so many good memories from this game. I used to play it so much. Like, I remember this. It just, man, old MMOs. Like, I feel like new MMOs would never be able to do that to you. I don't know. It just, new MMOs are so fast. And you never have that feeling. You just never have that, right? It's completely lost upon the player. Just that login, the select button, everything. The way that the game looked. it's also perfect in its own way. Downloading Silk Road install right now. Don't don't take it too far. but I mean, no, it's actually just nostalgic. It's really good. It's really good. But yeah, guys, it's been my privilege to stream to you fine folks on this day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. I don't know if Guild Wars 2 or maybe we'll try something new. Or maybe it'll just Guild Wars. Maybe we'll just raid. I'm not really sure. But anyway, we'll stream tomorrow as usual. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for being a part of the stream. And I'll see you soon. Kick bye.